Oh god.
My character's name is you.
Nope, no, it's not.
Never again.
Never again. Never, ever, ever again. Okay, welcome everybody. How was the week? Or two, I suppose.
Acceptable.
Acceptable? Okay, alright.
I've been regretting the lack of D&D in the past week, so I'm looking forward to getting back to my almost every day again.
Your usual 20 sessions.
Yeah, my usual, 6 times a week.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so let's see. Monday group, on your last session, you had gotten into quite a bit of combat, in fact. There were minotaurs left and right that had been slain. During your travel in towards the deserts of Baccaral, you had run into these strange beasts and managed to best them, and eventually found more of them, and managed to beat them as well, though not without loss. And unfortunately, your companion Romero here was sundered by one of the beasts and was not brought back in time, perishing from unconsciousness and leaving the world. You're all now standing around the large bonfire, or the remains of it, that the Minotaurs had created, and you have since looted all of them. Your companion's dead corpse lays on the ground, and the rest of your adventure still lays before you. If you remember correctly from last time, you know that the Winged One, which travels with you, now no longer in an item form, and more so as some sort of strange specter that follows in your shadow, has informed you that off in a town nearby, he senses another one of these pieces, and would have you go to collect it for him. What do you guys want to do?
Gather up Romero's corpse and go to the town?
Okay.
Just a casual Monday.
Just a normal Monday. Give me 2 seconds here. Oh,
We
yes.
get anything interesting off of the, Didn't we get, a pile of, melted metals?
Yeah, so, we got, the slag of, a bunch of gold and gems. I wrote down 21 gold and 80 silver, which I have in my backpack right now, which I will disperse when you guys want to. And I also have a iron mystery chest, which
Yes.
I'm assuming we need to spend $2.50 to buy a key for. That is a CSGO loot case joke, if anyone is interested.
Really? I thought it was like $3.50 or something now.
No, it might be, but it was $2.50.
Oh, it's probably because I deal in Canuckistanian
Oh,
rupees. Yeah.
So it's about tree fitty.
About $3.50. So you wander over and gather up the corpse of your fallen companion. Romero, all of your items here are still on your person, but I seem to remember something about you guys wanting to bury him or burn him or something like that. What are you guys going to do? Are you actually going to take him to town?
I thought we were going to try and res him, but you said you were going to make it obvious that it was not possible.
Ah, I see. So, as you look over Romero's corpse here, you can tell that the injuries that he sustained from these incredibly large beasts has heavily damaged him, and though some of you know that in the land there is such magic which can bring back those from the dead, if this is indeed one of those cases, it involves way more money than you have, the likes of which would be common to maybe a noble and not paltry adventurers such as yourselves. So, I leave it up to you what you wish to do with him.
Loot him and bury him?
I take the ring off his finger.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you seize the ring from Romero's body here, you feel something. It emanates with that familiar magic that you felt before when you had it, and you remember how incredibly painful it was to wear the thing. For a brief moment, as you stare towards the ring and see what looks like a shine of light that passes over its metallic, sort of like sheen there, the whole thing seems to glow. And as it does so, a blinding light overtakes your vision, and everybody notices that over here, towards somebody who is rifling through Romero's stuff, there's a blinding light, and when it fades from existence, Mac has returned, and you find that the ring is no longer in your hand.
I did it! I brought you back, Mac! And I give Mac a big hug. And I like pick him up in my arms, like a bear hug.
I squeeze harder.
Now, Mac, I have to
shit.
tell you a little bit of what you've seen on the other side. You were seized who knows how many days ago, but it feels as though you have been essentially locked in a war for many, many days. When you lost consciousness, you remember hearing the voices of some higher power calling you to pay off a debt that you had yet to repay. And unfortunately, what remains from those days that you were gone are like somewhat shattered and displaced memories. You remember being transformed into some kind of sea creature, not necessarily not man, but partially fish as well, and fighting alongside what appeared to be armies of people such as yourself, with scaly skin and spear and trident in hand. You did battle for many days with evil denizens of the deep, taking orders from commanders of strange sea folk as though you were one of them, and eventually awoke from this strange dream to find yourself in a forest with your old companions once again. For some reason, in your gut perhaps, or lurking in the back of your mind, you feel as though your debt has still yet to be repaid.
Oh shit. This is fun.
Welcome back, Matthew. Mac. Are you here permanently, or?
Well, yeah, of course he is. I just brought it back with my magic. I picked up the ring and Mac appeared.
Kunu, I'm sorry, but I'm not hit back quite permanently yet. I still have a debt to pay. I feel as if at any moment I could be taken. But I will return yet again if said circumstance should happen, but I will return to you, my friend, no matter what.
Gay.
Well, if you're not done with your debt, then why are you here?
I fooled the old hag to give me time off.
I don't know if you should be talking about a god that way.
You fooled Oberic, the god of storms.
Yeah, totally.
Nice. Just not in my head.
I told him the job was done. He believed me. I'm sure he'll find out that it wasn't. No.
I feel like that's gonna have bad consequences, but it's good to have you back, Mac.
Thank you. So, what I missed, guys?
I point to Romero's corpse.
What the fuck? I leave for a little while, and Romero's dead already.
Well, you see, we were fighting some minotaurs, and Romero was running around like, you know, an animal with no head. And then he stopped running just in time to get skewered by some minotaurs.
Well, at least this time it wasn't my fault everyone died. Flashbacks.
I feel like there's a story there, but I don't feel like hearing it.
Should we bury the man? I mean, doesn't look like he's coming back.
Well, I think somebody was taking his stuff, and then I think we're gonna throw him on this fire here.
Holy shit, you savages. Let's do this.
Animals!
We should just bury him. Although
And let him be eaten.
well,
Isn't his god Oberic like the god of storms or something? I feel like a burial by fire is more fitting for a man in that. But I mean,
Can
what do I know?
can I make
I'll
like
go
a
with whatever
history
you
check
guys
to be
want to do.
like to decide whether or not I should bury or burn him?
Do you have proficiency in religion?
Fucking doubt it. Let me check.
I
No.
do! I'm jack of all trades.
Please roll, Mac.
Alright, let me go figure out my
Fuck this up,
modifier.
Mac.
First roll of the evening.
Stop using the backboard. It never does you good.
Doesn't.
That's an 8.
An 8. Looking at him, you think that, no, he should be set aflame. If you remember correctly, that was what Obrick would want.
Oberg's all about destroying things, guys, and I believe that, setting fire to him would be best.
All right,
Burn!
Did you get everything off him?
we should, probably do that. Well, leave the armor and stuff, but
But I could wear that.
Okay, so as you guys go over his contents here, do you still have the sheet, Dax and Rail?
Yeah, I do. Here, give me a second.
Yeah, pull that up if you would, so they can choose what they want from your inventory, if anything.
Where is it?
I want to take the makeshift shield that I've made him that he was going to use.
oh right, I had a thing I wanted to tell you about that, Kunu. Talius kind of walks up to you and says, "Hey, Kunu, what if, to remember Romero, what if you took his family shield and turned it into a chess piece or something? I'm sure it'd fit on your large form." I kind of just.
Can I see if he still has the 2 pieces of his broken family crest shield?
Stuffed into his backpack and hanging out the top.
So, Romero had pouch, common clothes, an iron pot, water skin, scale mail, shield, tent 2-person, bedroll, 50-foot hempen rope, smith's tools, shovel, tinderbox, mess kit, backpack, torch, 10 torches, an emblem of Oberic, the makeshift shield, and 2 massive Minotaur horns, as well as a rapier and a warhammer, and 7 gold pieces.
I say we
I'll take that
leave.
rapier.
Yeah, let's leave most of his things. Just take what we need.
Take a man's sword. Ugh.
Oh, taking it. All I have is a dagger right now for
I mean,
melee.
you can keep he's keeping the warhammer. So, so we'll take the 7 gold.
Okay.
I'm
I'll put that into the loot pouch.
I need weights for these things, but I'm taking the 2-man tent.
Okay.
I'm assuming the hempen rope is just standard weight, and the shield is 2 pounds.
Yep, so all those are standard. For the 2-man tent, I'd say that's probably about maybe 10 pounds.
Okay.
Should we take the Minotaur horns?
Are they the same as the 2 large ones that I'm currently carrying?
Yep.
They should all be the same with the exception of the ones that were taken from the chief. If I remember correctly, those were of a different caliber.
Tent 2-person is 20 pounds.
20?
How much did your Minotaur horns weigh?
I'm pretty sure they're just normal.
Because
They're
I'm pretty
probably
sure I
normal
have.
ones.
I'm pretty sure I have the 2.
You have the 2 massive.
Yeah, so what do you have those listed as?
2 large Minotaur horns.
Did you
10
get a weight
pounds.
for them? 10 pounds? Okay, so we'll say that his are probably about, maybe 7.
Okay.
Okay. So rifling over the body, you eventually take the pieces that you want, but respectfully, you try and leave whatever you can, and eventually take his body. You're all standing there, ready to hoist him into the flames of this large bonfire. Do you have any last words to share before your friend goes up in smoke?
Sorry we didn't run away.
I'm sorry I wasn't here to save you. Apparently, I am the only capable one.
Okay. A fitting eulogy, and eventually the cleric is thrown onto the flames. There's snapping
say-
and crack. Oh, yeah, what's up?
I'll say something about something probably that my people might have said. Something along the lines of those who fall in combat and may he rest better in the next place that his soul finds. And
Okay.
I'll hold up both of his pieces of the of his family crushed shield like over the flames. Not like to the point where they would get hot, but like just near it while he is burned.
Okay. You give a small prayer, one common amongst the Goliaths. It boils down more or less to you may have outlived your usefulness in life, but perhaps in the next world they'll find something for you. And his body is thrown onto the flames and starts to burn as pieces of cinder and broken wood collapse onto him. He joins the bonfire proper. Now, the three of you stand there, or sorry, the four of you, and there's still a few other matters to settle. The dead Minotaurs lay all about you, and they have been thoroughly looted, but it seems as though they have given you a bit of loot which has not yet been checked. And I don't remember, Talius, did you tell everybody about this box? I think that you... Because you
I
guys
think
tried to get into it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, hey, does anyone have any thieves' tools?
Okay. So,
Box.
you know that there might still be some loot to gather, and you also still have your previous mission from before. The Winged One wants you to travel towards the desert city, further towards the lake, and hopes to get another one of these items. Is that still the plan?
I would assume so, yeah.
Okay. Are you all headed off?
Sure.
Being
We should
the
rest.
party's, I guess, ration manager,
Hmm.
I caution everyone that we have perhaps 2 days before we run out of food.
Shit. How far away is the closest city?
The city of Addis, which is where you're hoping to head to, could be anywhere from maybe 3 to 6 days, depending on how travel goes.
Fuck. Alright. Yeah, that was poor planning on our part. Well, we'll need to ration it out then. And
Anybody
does
want to go
anyone-
hunting?
Yeah, does anyone know how to hunt?
Is anybody an outlander, perchance? Rip. Does anybody have the survival proficiency? Holy
No.
fuck, what are you guys
It's-
doing?
Let me.
Romero
I have
had
jack of all trades.
Romero had survival.
Oh,
Survival is marked on my PDF character sheet, but not on the one on tabletop. And I think that is because when I switched it over, I changed survival. So I'm
Wow.
gonna take survival off.
What a clutch decision that was.
can we eat
I've-
the Minotaurs?
Jack of all trades.
Certainly could try. Would you like to try eating the Minotaurs?
I'll try. I'll take some off. I'll be the guinea pig here.
Okay.
Can we cook the Minotaurs before trying
Yeah,
to eat them?
Yeah.
I'll chop off
Cook
some
them.
like minotaur leg
In the
meat
flames
or
of our
something, and I'll
burning
cook
and
it.
dying friend.
Ah.
like near to the point of like being burnt to a crisp because I have no idea how to cook. I'm just gonna like hold it over the fire until it looks like blackish, and then I'm
Kuno?
gonna chop into it.
It's interesting harvesting meat from something that looks so man-like, but eventually you have a few steaks in front of you and cook them over the fire. Now, by the time that they have been charred and you go to taste them, it tastes more or less like bull. It tastes like cow. It's the meat seems fine. You guys want to
I'll
continue?
pass it around.
Okay.
Like after I take a big bite out of the first leg haunch, I'll just like pass it over towards Mac. Not bad. Tastes like cow.
Okay.
Awesome.
I'll take just
Um,
enough to survive.
Yeah, welcome back, Mac. We're gonna be eating these things if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm just gonna harvest as much minotaur meat as I can and throw it in my bag because I still can carry a shit ton of stuff here.
Okay, nice. Let's go ahead and roll some luck for you then. And since you actually have the survival skill, how about you go ahead and roll that for me, Mac?
Okay.
Since bards can roll on everything. Ooh, an 11 for the luck roll. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, well that undoes that.
Fuck you.
Now, there are complications, of course, since these aren't proper rations. You know that they will spoil, and that meat, especially in the desert sun, is probably not going to last for too long. However, you do manage to get a fairly sizable amount of rations here. By the time that it is done, you collect 16 rations.
Okay, I'll take 8 of those, I think.
Okay.
Just
'Cause
take them
they're-
all.
There's no way they're gonna last more than 2 days, so I'll take 16, or I mean, I'll take 8, and I'll cook 4 for like today.
Okay.
And pass them out, and then I'll just say, we'll eat these the next 2 days if they don't look too bad.
All right.
I'll take the other 4 just in case.
Now, if I remember correctly, it's about the afternoon. Do you want to travel for a bit, or do you want to maybe stay here and then get a long rest soon and then head off?
We're all fairly beat up. However,
I look
Kunu's-
fine.
Kunu's doing fine.
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
are we doing? Oh yeah, no one even got hit other than Romero.
I'm so sorry,
Okay.
Jackson.
We stopped that last fight.
Yeah. Mm,
These boots are made for walking.
Let's get as much ground as we can cover since food is an issue. I think we
Okay.
should.
yeah.
So with a
What?
haste, the group decides to head off then. Did you have something else there, Talius?
Nope.
Okay.
Well,
Sorry, I thought you heard your mic there for a sec. Mac,
It
what's
was
up?
me. Am I still terrified of the sea?
Oh, interesting. I would like you to actually make a roll for me. I want you to go ahead and roll a straight intelligence check, please.
Okay. So that's a 0. Okay, got it.
This is to see what you remember from your strange dream.
What? You're not gonna take the incline, you bitch? That's 11.
An 11. Okay. So, during your dream, you ran into all manner of horrors, but as you did so, it was alongside other combatants who were these strange fish people as well, which you had been transformed into. So you actually got to, in a strange way, confront some of your fears of the ocean. And you remember these, well, potentially horrible, scarring episodes. I'd like you to go ahead and make for me a wisdom saving throw to see whether or not you have been left braver than you were before, or simply more scarred.
Okay. So that's gonna be a +2 to this. Alright, I feel a little bit better. Alright, we're gonna roll down the board for once.
Oh, goodness. Much better.
That's a 14.
Okay. You still harbor some fears about the ocean, and having seen the things that lurk within it has not necessarily made things better, but you have managed to actually take on some of these fears and remember felling what seemed to be some sort of evil sea creature that rode atop a shark which came barreling towards you, and in a line of spearmen here, you actually managed to best the thing and realize that these things can indeed be killed. And the next time that you're along the coast, perhaps you won't be as defenseless. You're feeling a little bit better about the situation. How much better, though? I leave that up to you.
I feel like I could go there, but I'm not willingly gonna go towards the water.
Yeah, like you could go to the beach probably, but you might not go for, breaststroke or nothing.
I
So,
sounds good to me.
we are going to cut over to our two newbies here, or our new characters at the very least. Why don't you go ahead and give me your character's backstory, Barrow Astarte.
Barrow Astarte had been the son of a not famous but successful merchant in Baccarat.
Okay.
His father roamed the lands, and even though his ancestral home was indeed in Jakuta, his father and him went around time to time, leaving their mother to take care of the business at home, to travel around and see what wares they could pick up along the way. And from time to time, that meant joining the odd caravan or passing through the odd ruins. After a certain point, they came across an uncommon situation where there was a woman who was examining some ruins depicting great pictures of the sun. And there he found his first friend outside of his family, was a priestess of Strela, who taught him the ways, Strela, and the beauties that you can find in Her Majesty throughout the ages. He soon quickly developed a love for delving into ruins and finding ways that she had brought goodness to the world, and devoted his life forevermore to try to find more of Her Majesty and bring what he could to light. And from time to time, coming back to Jakuta and spending time with his family. He learned that the best way to do this was to bring a 10-foot pole with him everywhere he went, and soon developed skill with a polearm itself. So, I don't know where we're gonna end up, but that's his story, is that he's just a guy who soon learned that the sun was the one who's been watching over everything, and learned how to wield a polearm and devote his life to finding out ways to find.
Okay, so you've taken the Oath of the Crown, being a level 3 paladin, yes?
Yes.
And the Oath to the Crown generally means that you've bestowed, directed your life to serving some sort of authority. In this case, the authority is not that of the land, but some sort of divine power. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Your family is still alive and lives in Jakuta, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you have left for adventuring days?
Just finding, going through different ruins that I found with my father and trying to find new ones along the way.
Okay, so you're doing a spot of traveling right now in hopes of finding like ruins that would be just interesting, or perhaps have riches, or maybe information on Strela, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it is during one such time where you are adventuring, this time on your own without your father, that you come across what appears to be an opening into the earth. And very quickly you realize this might be one such ruin. Not one that your father has shown you, simply one that had been rumored by some of the townsfolk, and you decided to check it out, and lo and behold, here it is. But upon going into this ruin, you found that you were not alone. As you traveled further down into its confines, you found that more than one trap along the way had been triggered already, and a suspicion began to grow that somebody else was here already, or perhaps was still in here. As you came around a corner, some sort of dark object flew in your direction and struck you, causing you to fall to the ground, and as you lost consciousness, all you could see was your torch there nearby, burning by the side wall, and a couple of heavy leather boots that stepped near to your head as darkness overtook you. Belay, how about we get your story here? What has your life had?
His is much cooler than mine. Belay, around 78 years ago, before current time, Belay's mother was quickly seduced by a beautiful elven man who strode in, and, through the power of love, he knocked her up. So,
Beautiful story.
Belay comes out. He's enjoying his life in Noveria, right?
Okay.
He's all happy, but, it's sort of boring, right? It's same old, same old. Noveria is very peaceful. He needs some more action. Well, lo and behold, one of the gods must have been listening, because he, becomes a sorcerer just out of nowhere, right? One of these days, scales started crawling up his arms. He loved it.
Okay.
So he tells his mother. His mother, tells him to join the army. So quickly he's shipped out to a training camp of sorts, and then is within like a month and a half, he's sent out to the front lines with a group of other magic wielders. almost instantly, his team is fireballed down. Everyone but him and another person is dead, right? He survives with third-degree scars just running up his arms. Scarred him forever. He blames himself for the whole thing. So he shut himself in his home for around, 78 years up until now. And just 3 months ago, he decided to come out of his shell and retake the life that he sort of wanted from the beginning, a more exciting, less boring Novaria sort of lifestyle.
Okay. So you're feeling emboldened once again. You've had your run-in with tragedy, but you're kind of ready to hop on that horse and see if there's something better to be found. You still bear the scars of that old time, but there's something else out there, some sort of wanderlust that kind of pulls and calls towards you, and you're going to go with it. So you are leaving your hometown here and traveling across Novaria, but you don't get terribly far before a horrid fate befalls you. You're traveling alone and are going in between a couple of roads here that are between Novarian towns, hoping to eventually get out of the country and see more of the world, when you're attacked. And it's in the evening that you wake up. You're sleeping in a tent that you've brought with you, and you hear the sound of footfalls around. And as you get up and try to light a lantern, you can tell that there are men from beyond your tent here. And before you call out to them, something causes your tent to crumple in, and you lose consciousness, hearing the sounds of what would appear to be common being spoken, but the words come all muffled to you as you are now soon consumed by darkness. Now, you eventually regain consciousness, but only partially, and same to you, Barrow. For the next little while, the two of you drift in and out of understanding, seemingly drugged and unable to really pull in all the details of the situation. You remember being carted from one place to another. Barrow, you remember traveling with the sound of horse hooves and the occasional heat of the desert sun then being replaced by the horrid cold of the desert winter. And it felt as though you were kind of like in a cage of some sort, like laying down on bars or something like that. As you tried to overcome this poison, whatever it was that was running through your system, you found that the most that you could possibly do was just to open your eyes for a brief period and see what looked like sort of murky and very blurry visions of what was around you. The same happens for you as well there, Belay, except your surroundings are a bit different. You're carted towards what sounds like a town of some sort. And you hear what must be people wandering streets and things like that, until eventually those sounds are replaced many days later with the sounds of a ship, as though you're on a boat. And then again, travel. The whole time you're unable to really get exactly what's happening because you've been drugged by some sort of horrid thing that robs you of really more than just muffled sounds and blurred vision along the way. Eventually, you get to this point where the two of you are cognizant of being next to each other. Indeed, you're both aware that you're in a pen of sorts that has a whole bunch of other people who are being carted around. And at the point that this is happening, you're going down like a long corridor, some sort of dark hallway, and headed off to some other room from which there is like very raucous sounds, as though some sort of party or something is happening there. We'll cut back to the other group for now. It's the next day, and you've managed to travel partially out of the jungle. Are you guys going to keep going, having consumed one day's rations, and just try and push all the way over towards the town?
Yeah.
Okay.
How are these Minotaur rations looking as I chop half of them up, feed them to my...
As you travel along, the cold weather seems to have kept them from spoiling, and you think that you might yet have another day of use from them.
Perfect. I'll distribute the first days and then
Okay?
continue on with the walking.
Continue on. It is the second day, and the midday sun is up above, beaming down here on the dirt path that winds itself through sandy dunes, hopefully headed up to the city that is marked on your map. When you all notice something, off in the distance, there's something moving through the desert, and I would like you all to roll a perception check, please.
I'm so glad I just got proficiency on that.
Perception check.
Alright, who's flipping my stuff?
Not me.
I'm gonna beat someone.
That is an 8.
I got an 18.
An 8, an 18.
11.
Okay.
Well,
12? Alright.
Thank God
An
for
18?
Kuna.
Was that Kuna?
Yeah.
Okay. All of you can see what looks like some sort of dark shape that's moving over there. And Kunu, as you squint your eyes and stare past the sands, which kind of blow around on the wind, you realize what it is. It's a group of horsemen traveling through the dunes. There must be a dozen of them, if not more. And you realize something. They may have spotted you because their course has changed and is moving in your direction.
Hey guys, there's some horsemen coming over here. Maybe they have some food for us.
I'm going to, mage armor?
Yes, Mage Armor, okay.
I'll just like look in their direction and like wave a hand, like in the air.
So you try to hail them. What are the rest of you guys doing?
Prepping for a fight.
Okay. Talius casts his mage armor. Mac and Varys, what are you two gonna do?
Trusting Kunu.
Trusting Kunu. Okay.
I'm getting my maul ready in my hand, just in case.
Just in case. Alright. You feel a cold, Kunu, as the winged one materializes next to you. And he speaks to you in a low tone, though the rest of you can still hear it. He says, Great Soul's approaching.
All of them? That's a lot.
Not all of them. So,
I don't think I would know what the word imbecile means.
fantastic compliment.
I'll just smile and I'll be like, okay, like their leader then, maybe?
The winged one seems to disappear, and the sound of these riders getting closer envelops all of your hearing and becomes like a thunder as it rolls in your direction. Eventually, the riders are upon you and doing circles around your group here on the road. You can see that their group is, though partially all horsemen, has a couple of carriages with them as well, which are being drawn. Small stagecoaches, it seems, with like large flat wheels, the kinds that could be pulled over desert sands. It's kind of interesting. A lot of you haven't seen this sort of thing before. And there does indeed appear to be some sort of leader. One man steps over in your direction. He wears armor of a very ornate kind, though not necessarily gilded by great wealth. And he turns towards you four, and he gives you a bow. What do you guys want to do?
Return the bow.
Okay.
Definitely not bow.
Welcome, great souls. We would be much obliged if you could give us a ride to whatever the town we're going to is called.
The man who has trotted towards you seems to pause. His riders continue to sort of move around and eventually stop, forming a circle. you can see that a look of confusion runs over his face. And
I point in the direction of where we're going. The town over there. Could you give us a lift? Maybe some food. We can pay you.
I will never go back to that town. Who might you be?
We're fellow great souls. I'm Kunu.
You must have mistaken me for somebody else, friend. My name is Fez, and it is my pleasure to meet all of you.
Pleasure as well. Why would you say you would never return to the town?
A complication. Say, you wouldn't happen to be a part of a larger group traveling through here, would you?
Can I roll
Kunu's
insight?
pretty large.
You can certainly roll insight.
I think I'm proficient. Let me make sure before. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's a 15.
A 15. Okay. You're not necessarily the smartest person, Kunu, but you're pretty decent when it comes to reading people's intentions, and you think that this man is prying you for information. You're not sure to what end, but it seems like he's trying to get something out of you all.
Yeah, we've got a big group of people coming behind us back from the jungles. They're maybe 2-3 hours behind us.
Make a deception check, please.
Jesus
So I
Christ.
said Mac to do it.
I don't know
Hey,
why
I
you guys
was
let
elect-
Kunu talk.
I was elected to be the leader of the group. That's a 9 deception.
Wow.
I mean, Mac's back. I was starting to talk.
The man shakes his head. I see. Do not worry, me and my men, we mean you no harm. You can speak truthfully on such things around me.
What he really means is that they're only about 45 minutes.
He stares over towards you, Mac, and then turns back towards Kunu, and he says, perhaps I should be more forthright with why it is I've stopped you. You see, I have recently left said town and have been given certain instructions. I've been told to be on the lookout for a group of 4. Now, that wouldn't possibly be you, would it?
I mean, there are 4 of us. I don't know what you would be looking for us for, but I can count.
One of the men calls. It's a rider that's behind him here. And he says, waste no more time on them. Stop trying to follow the rules of that oracle. She's leading you astray. The man turns and gives some sort of hand gesture, one that none of you are really familiar with, and he turns back towards you. He says, come now. Are you in the group of 4, or is it more than that?
It's just us.
He looks over and eventually stops, staring over at you, Talius, and he says, a masked man.
Motherfucker. Hi, yeah.
So, why is it that you travel with a mask? A bad omen in these lands.
Oh, well, I had an accident when I was younger. I was training to become a wizard, and while it the mask is to hide the scars of said accident.
Make for me a deception check, please.
Motherfucker. I know. Deception. I knew I didn't have any proficiency. So let's see. It's a -1 to that's a 6. Hey.
The man sighs. He says, The Oracle said there would be a group of 4 traveling through. She could have warned me there would be such 4 liars.
Well, we usually like to deal in honesty, not lying. I mean,
Technically, we were a group of 5 until just yesterday. So you might be looking for a different group.
One of the horsemen calls out, this time another one. He says, Captain, there's no time. We must make haste. And the man is shushed rather swiftly by this leader who's speaking to you, who then calls you over to one of the little carriages here. He motions for you to follow him, Kunu. Do you go with him?
Yeah.
Okay. How about the rest of you? Do you follow as well, or are you going to stand there amidst all the horsemen?
I'm down.
Going. Yeah.
Okay, so Varys hangs
While we're
behind.
walking over there, do I have like any time at all to talk to this guy before we get to the carriage?
Yeah, you can probably get a line in or two.
So, have you ever like gone to bed and woken up and it was like, a couple days later or anything?
Says, no, I haven't.
Huh. I was told there were great souls here. You sure?
Listen, I don't know exactly what it is you're speaking, but I assure you, what you're calling me, you're mistaken.
Alright.
The desert heat must have gotten to you, my friend.
Usually pretty good with temperatures.
He takes you up to the carriage here, and eventually places his hand on the couple of handles at the back. And before he opens them, he turns over towards you, and he says, what I have in here, I don't want you to get the wrong idea about. I have,
That's never done.
let's say, acquired these, and intend to have them saved. So when I show you this, I don't want there to be any aggression. Do you understand?
I nod.
He goes ahead, and the back end of the caravan here opens up, and you find what looks to be some sort of like jail. It's a caged cell that has 2 fully clothed adventurers who are passed out there on the ground. It's clear that they're still alive, though they wear a set of ankle and wrist chains, and they both seem like they're asleep.
This
Saved
took an
by
odd
us?
What did you say?
You want us to save them? I look at the guy.
He turns to you and he says, there is somebody in that town that I have left, one that is dear to me. She has given me a word of advice. I have been called crazy by many of my colleagues for following her word, but she has always been kind to me, and I found that following her advice has always led me to good fortune. Well, most of the time. I've collected these on her word, and would have you take them with you. What do you say?
Got any food for them? We're kind of running short on food.
Are
You
we
hear the-
seriously accepting slaves?
He
He
says,
doesn't give a fuck.
yes. Though, with you, I suppose they would be free men.
But,
I mean, I'm
but
definitely
food.
gonna prove them.
Look. There's...
We don't need much. Just like a day worth of food for each of them, so we can get them to the down there and buy more.
There is an interruption as another one of the horsemen calls out. He's rather angry, and this man turns to you for a brief second, and it looks like he's going to speak, and then he pauses in a bit of frustration, and he kind of calls back out to the rest of them, and he says, I'm almost finished, okay? Look, you take these 2 men, and we just leave it at that. They seem useful, and as far as I know, they're undamaged. Okay?
All right,
All
I'll
right.
take them.
Cool.
He pulls out a small key and unlocks the back here, and then grabs one of them by the ankle and kind of pulls on him. It's clear that this man is strong, though he struggles to kind of hoist this person, and eventually just kind of lets that body fall into the sand. It's some sort of half-elf, and he goes in for the next one. Somebody who's wearing a considerable amount more heft and gear, and
I'll help him grab that one.
okay, sort of struggling there. You give him a hand and hoist the second one out and drops him to the ground. He says, "I'd love to spend more time in chat, but I must be going before my men all turn traitorous, and, well, things get worse for all of us. I bid you goodbye."
Have a good trip.
If you're headed to the city like I think you are, consider an audience with the Oracle of the Deep. She might be able to help you. An old friend. Tell her Capsulini sent you.
Alright.
He heads off and quickly hops onto his horse. Somebody goes and closes up the back end of this caravan, and the whole group leaves off, trotting in the direction that you just came from, in fact, though they travel through the desert instead of using the road.
Would have been nice to get some of those carriages.
We'll surely get our own soon enough.
I'll bend down to the more heavily armored one and, like, shake him.
Okay. You gain consciousness, Barrow. You're being shaken by somebody, and I want you to go ahead and make for me a Constitution saving throw.
Ooh, interdasting. Just a +2.
What the fuck did you just say?
Interdasting. Pisses people off. That's an 8.
An 8. You are jostled into existence once again, woken up from some sort of strange dream that you were having. But as you wake, you find once again it's like you're drugged and you can't really tell what's going on. Words come in muffled, visions are incredibly blurred. You don't know what's going on. Do you want to say anything as you're being shaken here?
I'm curious, would Divine Health help at all?
Read Divine Health to me.
I'm just immune to diseases.
Oh, nope. Sadly not.
Okay.
You do not have
Okay.
AIDS.
What
Not
about
yet.
what about poison? Curious.
You're clearly drugged, but do you have, like, immunity to poison?
No, I just have lay on hands, and I'm curious. But same.
Okay.
I suppose doing it would probably tell me if anything. No, I'm just gonna. As I'm being tousled, I'm just like, what's going on?
Okay. So you go ahead and start to shake this man, Kunu, and he wakes in your arms here, eyes sort of coming alive as his eyelids sort of flutter, and he looks around, but you can see it's like his pupils don't really focus, as though he's not really there. The man strikes you as having suffered some sort of horrible hangover, or he may be drugged. It's obvious that something is affecting his system. It seems as though he tries to talk, but the words that come out are muffled and slurred, and you can't tell what he's trying to say.
Just drop him saying drunk, and then I shake the other one.
Okay. I'd like a Constitution saving throw from you, please, Belay.
Alright. Ooh,
Wow.
that's an 11.
An 11. Okay. You are shaken into existence, woken up from some strange dream. As you look around, your vision is blurry. You can tell that you're still drugged. But something happens. After a couple seconds of this, as your eyes are opening, some focus finally comes into view here. And you're able to hear things fairly well, too. You hear some strange voice calls for you to wake up, and as you look over, you can see an incredibly large, hulking man. It might not even be a man, some sort of other creature, which is holding you in his arms and shaking you. What do you want
Wake
to
up!
do?
Who are
Let
you?
go of me. Where am I?
This one seems to be able to speak Kunu, and you hear his words. They're somewhat slurred, but they come in clearly enough that he's definitely doing better than the other one.
Where did you get your ale from? Why are you so drunk?
Who the
Your beer.
fuck are you?
Hmm. Uh, where, where do you guys, let go of me? He's just sort of stumbling around.
I drop him in the sand. Useless.
Okay. You fall back to the sand here, and for all intents and purposes, you are under the effects of some kind of drug that makes it difficult for you to move around and talk, but not so much that you can't. It simply requires a great deal of concentration.
Anyone want to explain what the fuck just happened?
Somebody gave us free slaves.
Oh, slaves! I'm just looking around and seeing nothing but open dunes and desert.
Indeed.
Kunu, we didn't take them as slaves. We took them kindly.
Right, but they were slaves and they were given to us freely. So somebody gave us free slaves.
I was a
I don't see the
slave?
confusion.
Okay, but like, why did someone just ride up into the desert and say, "Hey, here's 2 free slaves that turn out to be drunkards"? What the? What?
Something to do with an oracle. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
deal with magic stuff.
Prophecies, man. We don't fuck with prophecies. Listen, I've learned in my many lifetimes that fate has its way of making things happen. We just let it happen.
While you are
Well-
all standing here, you hear something. It sounds like a faint rumbling off in the distance, and it seems like it's coming from the city. From over the sand dune in that general direction, there's a sound of something approaching. It doesn't seem like anybody else is clued into this.
Well, here's what I do know, Mac. If we don't get our move on right now, we're not going to make it to town because we're running out of food, and now we got 2 more mouths to feed.
There's
So,
something
alright,
coming from the city.
Kunu, let's pick these guys up and help them. We'll get walking.
Oh, Bears, what was that?
There's something coming from the city.
Oh boy. Yeah, let's get these guys looking better.
I try and pick up the plate, the heavier armored one, and
Okay.
like gesture for somebody to help me, probably Varys, and then I gesture towards the other one for Mac and Talius to get.
What do you want me to do with him?
Just carry them. I don't know. We gotta start moving. We're running out of food.
We'll do the injury walk, like both of us on either side. So
I'm gonna
The walk.
nudge the lighter armored one. I say, "Oi, do you
Yeah, I can.
you have food?"
Do I have food? I don't think I do. I know I have a pack on me that might have rations in it. No,
Scrambling
I don't
around,
have a pack.
you see that though you've been drugged and carried around for a long period of time, your gear is still with you, and your backpack is still slung over your shoulders. It might have the contents that you had when you set out to go adventuring, but you can't tell. And given that your ankles and your wrists are currently shackled up, you can't exactly check either.
Oh, they're shackled.
Yes.
We
I'll
you
try
want
and
to
remove
shackle
the
me?
shackles.
Kuno, you have smith tools. Do you think you can break the shackles off?
Yeah, give me a second. I go over to the one who's like more unconscious because it'll probably hurt him less if I fuck up, and I'll try and break his chains with like a smith's hammer or some shit.
Okay.
That would be unfortunate.
Go
Or
ahead and
First, I'll try and like just open them. like-
they are both locked, and it seems that the key to these shackles is nowhere to be seen.
I will just try and break the chains then on the first guy. On Barrow. Well,
Okay.
Not that I know his name.
Go ahead and make for me a strength check and add the proficiency from your blacksmith tools.
Oh, that's like a 23?
Nice. Okay. In good time, you're able to break off these chains here. You're not quite able to get the the shackles off, but you make a very swift couple of motions, sending the couple of chain links broken, and now this man can move freely, though it's clear that he's still in some sort of trance or some strange state of intoxication.
I gesture to the other drunkard. All right, you next.
Make a similar check, please.
14?
Okay. These ones are a little bit more difficult, and while you're working on them, clanging away, you can actually hear off in the distance the sound of something approaching, and all of you can tell that it's more horses. They're about to crest over the hill. You finally get the shackles broken here.
So, like, what if those guys just dropped off like something illegal, right? Like, you know, the whole like table talk. You know, the whole like someone fucking gives you drugs as they're running. What if they just did that to us?
Then
Off
we
in the
just give
distance,
the
over the
drugs back.
hill, a group of riders come up towards the crest, and one of them points off in your direction and blows a loud horn whose sound echoes out over the dunes. What do you guys want to do?
First of all, have I made any progress in hollowing out my horn out of a minotaur?
Over the 2 days? Let's see here. Go ahead and make for me a straight strength check.
Okay. Please be a nat 20.
Because you've had a couple of days to work on it, and you have some tools. Oh no!
Oh no! Alright, strength.
Yes.
Do I have the smith tools proficiency or no?
No,
Okay, then that is just a 9.
because they're not exactly meant for this. Okay, you're making progress, but you're not quite done. You think in a couple more days you might be finished, but it's not usable yet.
Okay. And I have been saving all of the scrapings, right? Like I haven't been like just dropping them, or would that
Yeah,
take...
you can keep those in your bag if you wish.
Sure. All right. Well, then hearing their horn, I'm just gonna be like, well, drunkards in the back, and I'll step up to the front.
Okay.
I'm just standing right next to Kunu. He's my boy. I'm not gonna abandon him if I don't have to.
Okay. As the horn echoes out, I'd like a second Constitution save from you there, Barrow. Oh,
It's
no.
your boy!
Killing it.
What the fuck?
I would like you both to make adjustments to your character sheet, please. Right now, you have 3 levels of exhaustion, Barrow.
Jesus.
And Belay, you have 1.
Alright.
There we go. The riders make their way to the top of the hill, sound the horn, and then start to approach you all. You rearrange yourselves. Are you guys doing anything before they ride up on you like the last group did?
What direction are they coming from?
From the direction of the town.
Like
So
here?
this way, or
Yes, they're coming from over here.
I'm gonna step forward, put myself out there with Kunu, and just kind of like, I'm gonna keep trying to help these guys get unshackled, kind of steady them so that way they don't look like, hey, we're being dicks to them. I'm trying to look friendly.
Trying to look friendly. Okay.
make a deception check.
Hey, that is not. I took in these men, and they are now free men in my.
Talius is tiny.
Now, try as you might to help them out, unfortunately the shackles will not come off, and it's clear that a key is needed for them. The riders
I'm
are
just
soon
trying to make
upon...
it look like I'm trying. I'm not actually trying. Like,
You're pretending. Okay, gotcha.
I'm trying to make these guys when they ride, they don't look like we're trying to kill these men or make them slaves.
Alright. At this point, basically crawling or like laying on the ground, Barrow is still there, very sick by whatever it is that ails him. When the group rides up upon you, it seems like about 20 horsemen that soon arrive and begin to surround your group. One of them steps forward, and he says, What have we here?
Can I lay on hands myself just 5 points to try to remove any poison in my system?
You can certainly try. Go ahead and make for me a straight luck roll.
Oh.
No.
That looks about right for me. Alright.
You try, and you find that you're actually unable to even use that ability. As you go to try and heal yourself, you're so in and out of consciousness that you don't even manage to lay on hands yourself.
Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna still count them as used.
Okay. The riders come up. This one speaks to you. What do you guys say?
How are we doing today, gentlemen?
I'm in a hurry. Have you seen the group travel by here?
I point
Yeah.
off in the direction.
How many were there?
There were a couple caravans of them.
More than 2 hands.
He turns around, causing his horse to sort of move to the side there, and he makes a few gestures, and a good group of the men quickly leave the circle and ride off in that direction. He turns back to you. He says, I am part of the Addis Town Guard, and what you have right there is property of Lord Abu Jalen. You'll hand them over immediately.
These guys, the drunkards?
Yes.
But they were just slaves to those guys, and we just made them free men. How does this work?
He rides his horse up closer to you so that he's only about 10 feet away, and he leans over and he says, They were never yours to begin with, nor the men who traveled with them. They're stolen property of Lord Abu Jalen. You'll hand them over.
Wait, so they're really slaves? I thought that was just like a joke.
Hey, do I know as a high elf, do we trade in slaves, or is that bad?
You have proficiency in history.
Yeah. No. I have high intelligence.
You have
This-
high intelligence. You know what?
Yep.
The group's been rolling like trash tonight, so I'll let you give it a trot. Go ahead and make me
Oh,
a straight int roll.
I
I rolled just fine.
Yeah,
Hey.
That's a 20.
Okay.
I even had my own slave.
Slavery over in the lands of Arendor is very common. People that have been captured by skirmishes and things like that are very commonly put to that. There's not really any place for a non-high elf in Arendor other than as a slave, or somebody soon to be dead for entertainment or something like that. You also know a bit about the history of the world, and how your people at their apex managed to conquer about half of it, and had enslaved a good deal of them. What's strange is this whole situation which is unfolding in front of you, because you know that ever since the Great Catastrophe caused your nation to sort of wither back to what it is now compared to what it was at its apex, has left a mark on the humans, and they don't do any slavery at all. It's illegal in their lands. At least that's what you were taught.
What? I'm sorry, just real quick. Is slavery generally accepted through all castes of high elf, or just higher up?
Oh no, any of them.
All even the lowest of the low.
The lowest of
Still
the...
acceptable.
Yeah, like a high elf farmer could easily have slaves to his name. That's fine. They're just treated as property. Like if you can own a carriage, you can own a few humans, obviously. A carriage probably does more work than they do.
I turn back to the two drunkards. I say, "All right, guys." I motion towards the guards. It's go back
But
to
for the
your.
rest of us, this would be pretty reprehensible, right?
So to the rest of you, you guys all
Wait.
know that slavery is supposed to not really be happening in Skyfall at all. Given those of you who are native would all be aware of this. For you as a Goliath, Kunu, you actually might not know. But for the rest of you, you're all aware of this. So this is a little bit odd.
Isn't owning others as property a little bit taboo?
What's that mean?
Weird, not accepted, not morally proper.
The guardsman doesn't seem to answer you directly, and instead he simply says, "Look, you're wasting my time. Send them over."
How much for him?
How much?
Everything's got a price. That's property.
He pauses for a second, and his horse turns around here as he leads back towards some of the other horsemen that are still here. You can see there is 8 of them that remain, and he seems to be having a hushed conversation. What do you guys do?
I like to have a hushed conversation with my party.
Okay.
How much gold do we have?
I want to do a little magic. I want a subtle spell
Oh,
suggestion at the head guy. Into his head, it's gonna be. Wait, does the head guy look royal, or does he look like a really well-trained military guy?
he looks like a guardsman, so he's clearly decked out in his full panoply of war. Though he has like a little badge that denotes he must be of some somewhat high status, but he's not wearing like any cloths of fine velvet or anything like that.
Alright, I'm gonna say, this is not worth my time. Clearly, 2 slaves, we can solve this later. Right.
Oh, interesting.
Holding up 8 men is not worth this.
What is the DC he has to pass?
Let me check really quick. I know it's a 13, but I don't know if it's
Wisdom,
wisdom
I
or
think.
intelligence.
I believe it's wisdom.
Yeah, it's wisdom.
Alright, wisdom.
Okay, let's see what he gets. They have a hushed conversation. What do you guys want to do while you're all huddled over here?
Got 21 gold.
I've got 0.
I've got 10 guys I can add to your pile.
We took 27 gold from the Minotaurs plus another 80 silver, give or take. Although
I got
if
a
we're
chunk of metal, and I start to pull out the lump of all the jewelry melted together.
so are we
Romero's
like
body had 7.
I've got a bag of seashells too.
so? Oh, why are we buying these men again?
Because I'd rather not die. He looks well trained.
As you
Yeah.
look over, you see the riders approaching. Your time to speak
They're
is growing
slaves.
short. What do you say?
Look, they're slaves. Some guy already owns them. Just fucking give them back. We don't need to die over this.
That's right, and I'll tell them you're a high elf.
I tilt my head a little bit. But don't you fucking dare.
The man
Yeah,
comes
then
up
shut
and he
the fuck
calls
up.
to you. He says, "Look, forget about the slaves. We have bigger issues at hand." And you see he looks further down the road towards where his other men have gone. And he turns to you and says, "Give me some coin for wasting my guard's time and we'll have it finished."
I flick him 2 gold pieces.
2 gold pieces. Okay. He catches the 2 gold coins and looks at it, and then he looks back at you expectantly.
I throw him another gold piece. I'm not very good with numbers. You're gonna have to give me an amount, or I'm just gonna keep doing this.
He looks to a different one of you.
I'll give him the 80 silver.
I'll give
I'll
him
pay him in quarter.
So insulting.
He
That
puts
might be
the
the most
3
ins-
coins of gold into his coat here, and then you hand him a large pouch. He opens it up to look into the large amount of silver that you just handed to him. And then he looks over towards you for a moment and drops the coin to the ground and pulls out his sword from its scabbard.
Hey now. That's
I'm
His
sorry.
men all move a few feet in your direction.
We're paying you. Why are you being so hostile?
I'm gonna just give him 10 gold real quick. Just, you know, that was all in jest. They're dumb. I'm a slave.
Make a persuasion check for me, please, Belay. And since you
It's
have a
with
level of exhaustion,
disadvantage,
you have
right?
disadvantage.
Yep. Oh, alright. Well, this is a check I'm good at, but, like, I don't know if I'm good at it with disadvantage.
Are you ever truly good at anything with disadvantage?
Oh! That's
Oh.
a 16 and a 19, so I add 16 plus deception or persuasion? Which one did you say?
Persuasion.
21.
21. He takes your 10 gold with a swiftness, snatching it from your hand. You're still sort of shaky from the whole experience as he nabs it from you. And he gives the coin a look, pockets it as well, calls over one of his men, who hops off his horse bravely to grab the coin. And then, without a word, the group rides off and heads to go meet up with the rest of them.
Wait, they picked up the pouch of 80 silver?
Yes.
Wow.
Fuck them!
Wow.
Hey, I'm happy to get rid of that silver.
Yeah.
Fuck silver.
Pay you in quarter.
Good job,
That's a
guys.
lot of
You
kill.
pointed out big combat for the night. No TPK.
I was worried there for a second.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's.
Welcome to being free, friend. And I clap this guy on the back, forgetting that he's probably gonna kill him.
Oh, don't do that. I might puke.
How's the other guy looking?
The other guy looks like he's kind of in and out of this world. He's like hoisted himself up on a few arms here, and it's clear that he's awake, but he hasn't really like done on anything other than like some hand motions that yielded nothing.
I go over and I just like pick him up over my shoulder, and I'm like, all right, let's go.
Okay. Are you guys headed off then?
Yep.
All right.
How much are you carrying right now?
Is it
My
Goliath
backpack is
Barbarian?
My backpack's 120, and my carry weight is like fucking ridiculous.
Backpacks can only carry 30 pounds.
Oh. Well,
I guess I have a lot of backpacks then, because I have a carry weight of 160.
We can say that the hempen rope is like holding the different items, and that's all just kind of like strung like all over you in different spots.
It's a giant.
I imagine I'm used to being like a pack horse because that's what I did for my master when he was teaching me to.
Yeah, you're like a walking
Blacksmith.
general shop.
I'm
As you
like-
guys travel
I'm
here,
a bag of holding.
are you guys gonna chit chat at all with your two new, or maybe just one new companion here? Who seems to be keeping pace, though he's doing so shakily. Do you have any questions here, Belay? Are you guys saying anything?
Hello, friends. Sorry about earlier. I promise I'm not some drunk who got himself in a bad situation on his own, really. And I'm gonna take out 10 rations from my explorer's pack. This might solve your problems a little bit.
I take the 10 rations and I attach them with some more rope to the back of my back. Still underweight. Thanks, friend. I handle most of the rations for this group, so if you got anything else you need me to carry, just find a way to tie it to my bag.
All right, I'll make sure to keep that one in mind.
By the way, what's your name?
Belay.
Billy. Good to meet you. I'm Kunu.
Nice to meet you, Kuno.
I'm kind of the front man of this group now, and
Hey.
right.
This
This
large
is my buddy
Goliath of
Mac.
a man travels with one that is named Mac. Mac, you're, let's see here, a half-elf as well. And he seems to be wearing some leather armor with a pack and some other adventurer's gear. There's another one there, somebody wearing a set of like wizard robes, it seems, who has a mask over his face so that his true features are never betrayed. And the other one looks like some sort of strange woodland creature of considerable heft to him. Like he's a bit more muscular and taller than the rest. Well, apart from this large Goliath, of course.
Oh, is Varus the woodland creature? I'm confused at.
Yes.
Alright.
So
Where you from, Billy?
Novaria. And
Never
then...
heard
It's a lovely place.
So, Belay, what? So you're a half elf. What kind of elf?
I didn't know my father too well, but you know, one of the kinds. I'm not actually sure.
Can I look at him?
Sure. Make an intelligence check for me.
Judge?
Investigation.
Certainly not a drow.
Investigation. Yeah, I thought that too, and then my character turned out to be a half drow.
Oh, really?
Investigation 22.
Okay. Now, I have to ask Table Talk. Did you want to be a certain type, or are you willing to leave this up to chance?
I'm willing to leave it up to chance.
Alright, let's roll here.
Bad idea. You'll be a half drow.
Okay, perfectly average. As you stare at him, you can see that there are a couple of features that betray his lineage. You think that his father was a wood elf, though this is, of course, a guess.
I see.
It doesn't even tell you. Huh, yeah, okay.
Do you want to know who your father was, or what your father was?
Sure, it doesn't really matter to me.
You seem to bear the general facial features of a wood elf, so sorry.
Oh well, I knew it was one of the unfavorable races.
Yeah, those elves, right? You can't trust them. And I stare at Talia.
Hey, Billy. Billy, who's your friend here?
Would I have seen him in the cages at all, or were we just so drugged out that I wouldn't have seen Barrow?
I'd like you to go ahead and make me a Constitution saving throw.
Barrow?
No, you, Bela.
Oh, alright. Oh shit.
Just say, if I make
reroll.
another one, I'm just gonna die.
Yeah, let me get that out of there.
So
Oh,
I don't
so
know how
that's
exhausted.
a 7.
You remember being around some other people, but you were never really able to get their features or anything, so you don't actually know if this is one that you've been around for the last few days or not. You're in the dark here.
I'm really not sure, but I'm sure he was a pleasure. He looks like a very strong, capable warrior.
Just like fucking being
Are you
carried.
cutting on to him right now? He's like almost unconscious. It's like rape right now.
Well, we were just slaves. I mean, one thing leads to another.
Whoa! Alright, immediately the rape vibes are a little strong. And
Maybe we take an extra watch tonight, yeah?
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's just take this big guy. He looks cool. I mean, he's a little drunk right now, but I feel comfortable with him.
I've been around the dwarves long enough to know a drunkard when I see them, and these two are hitting all the right signs.
God.
Okay.
I just keep pressing on. At some point, I'll probably start to speak with Varus in Dwarvish, asking what he thinks of the newcomers.
Okay.
Because I've kind of come to the assumption that only him and I speak Dwarvish, so I'm, not even thinking about whether these two speak it or not.
Am I still in and out of consciousness?
Yep.
Yep. Rest in peace.
Just
If you
hearing
could just
Dwarvish,
pass a con save.
just in Dwarvish, just say, water, please.
Oh.
Hmm.
As you make your way over and ask Varys, he doesn't seem to respond, but the one that's unconscious seems to mumble something.
I like heft him up off my shoulder, and I'm like holding him by the shoulders in front of me, and I'm like, "Do you need something?"
In Elvish this time. Water, please.
He mumbles again, and you're unable to really pick up what he's saying.
Would I understand it?
No, unfortunately not. His words come out slurred and broken.
Dumb bitch.
I just put him back over my shoulder. Keep walking towards town.
Yep.
Has anyone done a medicine check to see?
Nope. We don't care either.
Okay. You guys
Wait,
Is
continue
anybody
on towards
proficient in
town.
medicine? If anybody's proficient in medicine, they're free to.
I'm a bard.
Romero was.
All right, Max. See if you can do anything about this guy. He keeps trying to talk to us, but I can't make out what he's saying.
Oh, shit, I forgot to check my proficiency. Medicine, so it's a +2. What did I get? 14.
A powerful toxin of some sort seems to be running through this man, and he is heavily in the throes of it. You can tell that the one that's able to sort of walk and shamble along and talk with you all must be under similar effects, but his body has dealt with it better than this one. All you can really hope is that he'll come out of it soon. And it's not actually familiar to you, like, what the symptoms are. You're not that much of a learned man that you can really quite pinpoint what it is about him. You can tell, though, that Kunu's idea that they're drunk is false. It must be something else.
Kunu, it doesn't seem like they're drunk. They don't have the good stuff. They've been poisoned.
I like start looking around this armored one for like a snake bite.
Not like that, Kunu. Like you know, like someone put something in their food or their water and they got really sick.
What do you do about that?
Food and
Shake
water.
him or make him throw up?
You gotta hope they flush it out. Give them food and water.
Kind of short on those. Speaking of which, how much water do we have left in our water skins?
Probably none.
How much do I have in my water skin?
Yours is fine.
Are they saying it in Dwarvish? Are they continue speaking in Dwarvish or no?
I'm speaking in common right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go check over the armored guy for like his water skin and see if he has his own.
It appears that he does. It sort of tucked away into his backpack here. There's a water skin, and it is full.
Alright, I hand it to him.
Okay.
To me or to the armored guy?
What? To the armored guy, since we need to, quote, flush it out of his system.
Is he even conscious enough to grab it?
So just a little bit. Hydration.
It seems like the man is unable to really take this. As you try to motion for his hands, he, like, quivers and is unable to grab the water skin.
Alright, I'm gonna hand it to Kunu then. You could...
Kunu takes a sip first, make sure the water's not poison.
Okay. It tastes like water.
Okay. I lay him down on the
Takes this
ground.
nip to tell if it's poisoned.
I lay him down on the ground and I like force his mouth open by pinching his cheeks, and then I just start pouring water into it until his mouth is like full, and then I stop.
A Constitution saving throw, please, Barrow. See if you drown in the desert.
Oh my god!
Oh boy.
Oh, he did it! He did it!
That's a 20 modded. I rolled above a 5.
You're not sure if it's because you're trying to will yourself to do so, or if it's just a natural reaction from your body, but you swallow the water and feel much better all of a sudden. A coolness runs down your throat and into your stomach, and suddenly you're feeling rather better. You have a single level of exhaustion now, and your vision is starting to come back to you. You find that your words are starting to starting to come out better than they were before, and you're now able to chit-chat with people if you so wish, and can see them and move about.
You feeling better there, buddy? I give him like a really big smile. Like the scariest face to wake up to, just this Goliath smiling over your body.
Some fuckery going on over here. Just gonna look at him. Just yeah, yes, thank you. I appreciate it greatly. What is going on?
You were a slave, and then you became someone else's slave, and then you became our slave, and now you're free, kind of.
Well, another
Where are we
slave
that
bought you.
there are slaves? Why are we in the Rendor?
Why are you not in a Rendor?
Why would you ever want to go visit the elves? The High Elves, at least.
I don't know. I hear the land is quite beautiful.
Shut up, Dahlia.
Oh, they're artifacts for certain. Yes, they are, but the people, not so much.
Yeah, I liked when you couldn't talk so much.
Yeah, you're right. Those high elves are pretty fucking ugly. And I turn and I
no,
look at Dahlia.
Ooh,
Ah,
I would
beg
not
to
call
differ.
them ugly. I would just call them, well, ugly. Not so much, but
No, they're
Not
pretty fucking
savory.
ugly. Trust me.
No, they're quite beautiful.
Uh-huh.
Pretty
More so
fucking ugly.
all right,
Goliath
there,
or
fucking Obama. They're
humans.
they're quite beautiful.
They're quite pretty.
Jesus.
Well, you feel like you can walk because I'm getting kind of tired of carrying your heavy ass.
Always carrying his ass.
All right, yes, of course.
Good.
Thank
We're
you.
going back to the town you were a slave in.
I was a slave. You keep saying that.
We were slaves. It was a double sort of thing.
Yeah, a slave bought your
what?
freedom. I don't know why they let a slave have money, but apparently that's how it's done around here.
Why would I have? What? I'm no slave. No, I'm an adventurer. My family's
Come on,
well
buddy.
known.
It's okay. I
It's
pat him on the
alright.
back, trying to wake him up. You'll come out of it eventually. Things will become clear. Just like I used to tell Rorik, you just gotta get through this hangover and you'll be fine.
Who is Rorik?
Old dwarf I used to know drank like a sailor.
What's a sailor? Oh wait, no, that's what I said. Sorry, it's not as common.
Right, so you can walk, so let's get a move on. We're running out of food here. And we got no water.
Oh, here I have some food. If you, who are you all?
We're friends. That's all you need to know until you prove otherwise.
Oh,
Off
well,
into like nothingness, I'm just gonna say out loud, like, what are we supposed to do with these two? See if there's any response.
Ah. There's no response.
Okay.
thank you for aid, but I'm trying to look for some ruins in the area, but actually, where are we? It seems like my homeland, but I don't remember being over here. Where
Do you
this
have
looks?
proficiency in nature or survival?
Do I have survival?
Go ahead and roll that for me.
Alright. It's only a +1, but. Hey, that's a 20 modded.
Wow.
Wow.
As you look around here, it starts to come to you. You feel like you're not sure exactly where in the desert you are, but you see that off in the distance, that faint shimmering might actually be some water, and over there that could possibly be another landmark. You think that you're actually fairly close to the city of Addis, across the desert. Your homeland, like the town that your family is in, be days and days from here through the dunes.
Why am I near Addis? I was closer to Luceba before.
You were a slave.
Yes,
we
once
can't
again,
answer questions for you.
doesn't make sense. Don't know why I was a slave. Really, man. Why? Was I a slave from Addis?
Some dude showed up with you and your buddy over there in the back of a cart, handcuffed. You see these chains? I broke that for you. And yeah, he showed up. He said it would be good for us to take you. I asked for some food with you, and he just kind of ignored me. And then they rode off. And then some people from Addis showed up, and they were like, "Those are our slaves. Give them back." And for whatever
Right.
reason, Mac here decided not to. And then they were like, "Okay, just give us some gold for our time." And that one, the other slave bought you, and now you're here. That's literally all we know.
That's. Would I know why Addis has slaves?
Ah. What do you have for the intelligence proficiencies, my friend?
I have investigation and history.
Ah. Okay. In that case,
And religion. And religion.
you happen to know that the lands of Skyfall has outlawed slavery. Sometimes it rears its ugly head, and there are murmurings of it here and there. However, officially, none of that happens. Ever since the High Elves, humans will not deal with that. That being said, on occasion, things can be heard, and you know that the city of Addis has more than once been mentioned as a place where slavery still goes on in dark corners of the city. It seems that whatever is being told to you by these strange adventurers might indeed have some truth to it.
Well, you said you needed food. Are you currently hungry?
No, we're good for now. But we need to get to town because we're running out of food.
Well,
Plus,
if you
we have
need
business.
food,
We have
I have
business
no-
status.
Oh. I have some food I can share with you if you need it as thanks.
We
But-
will.
Hmm.
We will look into this in a little bit, but for now, let us hit the road, travel as much as we can. When we camp for the night, we will make food and go from there.
Okay. Thank you.
Alright. The group travels further. The clanging of manacles and chains filling all of your ears. Are you guys going to attempt to force these off, or just kind of leave them be since now they're basically just ankle bracelets and whatnot?
Would I? Because my guy is covered in cloth because desert gets hot. You want white cloth on you. Would I have those on right now? Also, why is there a golden fedora out?
You would have them on. You could conceal them if you want underneath the cloth.
Yeah, I would try to like just soften the jangle. I would try to fiddle with them, see if it's no use, and then just like tuck them in just to reduce the noise because I'm used to no noise.
Okay, sounds good. How about you, Belay?
I mean, I would try to fidget with it, but I'm not sure I'd be able to get that far.
Does anybody have thieves' tools?
Nope.
I have proficiency.
Sucks to suck. Okay. Everybody heads
Where's
off
we
into
get
the desert along the road, and travel
I-
is fairly swift. A coolness falls upon you, and eventually clouds roll in, blotting out the sun. On the next day, when all of you wake, you find that the desert, though still arid, has a considerable chill to it and a cold that comes with it, something you're not quite expecting. That being said, as you go to put away your camp from the previous evening and head off, it only takes a few hours before the city of Addis can be seen further up ahead. It sits along the lakeside and seems to have a whole bunch of adobe buildings here and there, and some of them are actually fairly sizable, ones that go up a few stories and look like they could be small palaces in their own right. What do you guys want to do?
So, first order of business, we need to buy some thieves' tools. Agreed?
Yes.
Well, it would make breaking into tombs a lot easier, but sure, of course, as long as we're not stealing from good people.
Well,
Around here?
unless good people were the ones that enslaved us, I
Well,
don't think we're stealing any other property.
You did say that you stole, or you were slaves of theirs, so.
I mean,
Is there any
Can't be a
dirt around
slave.
here?
Ah, the road that you travel on seems to be made of compacted dirt. You could try and get some of it if you had a shovel or something, or maybe a piece of metal.
Can I get like a handful of it using like either like parts of the shield or something? I just want to like make a little bit of mud and smear it all over the two slaves' faces so nobody recognizes.
Ah, do you guys let this mud be smeared on your face?
I'm gonna back up and just lift up the cloth that's covering my armor to cover my face and be like, "This will do, my friend."
Yeah, I'm gonna follow suit. I don't know if I want to be mud soaked,
Okay.
but I'll
I-
thank him for the offer.
I like swipe some like war stripes under my eyes.
I
It's
could
good for
go
the
into
sun.
town before and get these tools.
Oh, that would be very helpful. Yes.
Can I trust you with my money?
Well, I took 27 gold from the Minotaurs, which we can split up between the three of us.
I just
However-
hand you my remaining 18 gold.
That will do. Alright.
Mac, you want to go with them? Keep an eye on him.
Sure.
I think Varys and I can watch over these two troublemakers.
Why are you gonna call them troublemakers already, Kuno? We don't know about like that yet.
I just like to mess with the new guy. I was the new guy and nobody messed with me, so I figured start a new tradition, right?
I like it. I like it.
I am a fan.
All right.
So-
well,
You guys have fun in town. We'll be right here, and I'll start setting up my two-man tent.
Okay. So, Mac is going to travel into town with Talius in tow, and the rest of you are going to stay on the outskirts. Is that the plan?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I'll
Okay.
start setting up my two-man tent, seeing him set up his.
Alright. Now, as you guys get closer, you can see off in the distance, as the city starts to eventually get up to a point where you can recognize more and more of its detail, that there's quite a few stables outside of the city, and that most of them are chocked full of dark steeds, which seem to fill all of the pens. And there are a good deal of tents outside of the city as well. Small makeshift camps here and there dot the outskirts of the city, which doesn't really seem to have much in terms of like a proper wall or anything. There's like a little bit of mud brick that sort of runs around it, and the rest is just kind of left for fortifications. There's really nothing. As you guys get to that point where you're getting close towards these tents and whatnot on the outskirts, you realize you have a decision of either making your tent amongst theirs or outside of that sort of threshold. What do you guys choose?
I vote for inside.
Okay.
Going to look at it like this is something that my family would do frequently, yeah?
Yeah, so you're aware that the riders of the desert will sometimes station themselves outside of town because town is busy and there's not really space for all the horses and gear, so most people just form their own tents outside of town instead of going in and actually like buying a tavern or anything. Now, you guys could stay even further away if you wanted more distance, or you could try to blend in and kind of form your own tent alongside all the others.
I would head in.
Head in?
Yeah,
Okay.
Kuno is big on community, so
All right.
you probably want to be in the big group.
You soon find yourselves in your own tent here, on the outside, but still within the sort of confines of all the other tents. And at this point, two of you head off towards town. So you guys all go ahead and make your camp and everything. For those of you who have traveled, it has been a single day, and your level of exhaustion is now gone, so that's fine. Subtract those rations and all. And we're going to cut to the two going into town.
So I need to get rid of how many rations? Sorry, real quick.
6 in total.
I have one of my own.
Okay, 5 in total.
And the Minotaur stuff is still good?
The Minotaur meat at this point, rolling luck, is unfortunately spoiled.
Alright, I toss that out and I will get rid
Do I
of 5
see
regular
him
rations.
like pull out the rotten meat?
Yes.
Okay, I will purify food and drink.
Hey.
Ah, okay. Well, that solves that problem to a degree.
Okay.
Now,
So we are now out of meat and down to 1 and taking 1 out of the regular rations.
before we
I
do
took
our
the-
excursion into town with Mac and Talius, I must ask, how much time do we have this evening? Table talk. How long are we playing tonight? What do you guys got? Does anyone need to leave within the next few hours?
I
No,
got 7 now.
Yeah, I've got to leave at 11, but
So how long is that from now?
an hour and 23 minutes.
Hour and 23. Okay. So what we're gonna do here is...
so you're on the East Coast as well.
Yes. We're going to take a brief 5-10 minute break, and while we do, I would like all of you to perhaps talk amongst yourselves. You know, go ahead and grab your drinks and stuff, but when you get back, see about maybe moving the time for tonight's game forward so that we can play more, because as far as I understand it, our friend Soup here is going to be having to leave probably the earliest out of you guys during the evening, so if we can move the time forward, then we can buy time for everybody. Either that, or we're going to have it where we play later and he simply gets sick every evening.
Yeah.
So
Fair
we'll cut
enough.
to a brief waiting screen while you guys talk that over.
Sounds good.
For me, I'm fine with the 7 o'clock start, but I still live at home, so whenever my family has dinner, I'm gonna have to go eat. So that could be any time from like 6:30 to like 7. So I might be like 5 to 10 minutes late if we start on 7, like every day. But I'm fine with you guys starting and Kunu just being quiet for like the first 10 minutes.
Oh, that's when we get all the major decisions out of the way.
I mean,
I
I'm
think
all.
I'm doing a good job as the party's front man.
Yeah,
You are.
have.
Kunu's a good talker. He's just not a good reader.
I am a-okay with starting games earlier, but it doesn't really matter because I'm gonna be gone for another 3 weeks.
Hey.
I'm good with starting it earlier.
I'm good with us starting it earlier as well. What time do you guys want to start at, though?
I can't do any earlier than 7 just because work and food.
Ah. Okay, so we would just stay with 4. Or sorry, 7 Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so that'd be 4 Pacific Standard Time.
That'd still give us 4 hours. Just,
Yeah.
you know, good session.
Yeah, sorry
Um,
about 11 p.m.
No,
No,
you're
it's
fine.
totally cool, man.
Oh, you're good.
No, what kind of boned us today was
Waiting for Tanner.
yeah.
And trying to figure out all the new characters and stuff. And,
So, is he actually joining us? Or.
I think he wants to, but whether or not he joins next week or not will be up in the air. He ran into some stuff tonight with his wife, so I don't want to go too much into detail, but there was just some
That's totally fair.
unpleasantness going on. It sounds like.
I am going to step away for a moment, and if I don't, for some reason, come back, I may have passed out. There was a
Don't
couple
you-
of times. There was a couple of times where I almost passed out in this.
I told your ass to go.
No,
Did you not sleep or something?
no. So like, Casey, after like we both signed off, I couldn't fall asleep until like 5 a.m.
Go sleep in the bathtub, nigga.
Casey, that's not the solution to all life's problems.
Yes, it is. I'll be right back.
It's not the solution to everything.
By the way, does anybody else want a Minotaur horn? Oh, nice war horn made out of Minotaur.
I mean, I was planning on like doing something with them. I still haven't figured out what.
Okay, we have
I don't think it's
plenty
gonna
of
be
them.
a horn.
You wanted
might
me
be
to make
like-
a sword out of one of the giant ones, right?
Yeah, it's not gonna work out though. So I'm thinking maybe use it as like a hilt or something. You know how like the Romans kind of had like a bone hilt type thing. and they're-
Ivory hilts.
Yeah, there you go.
Sure.
Might go something with that. It could also be cool. I'm not sure how well it would work out, but putting the fucking like Minotaur horns on like a helmet for you, or Varus.
Considering I don't wear any armor, that would be pretty badass. Just this shirtless dude with Minotaur horns coming out of a
Mhm.
Viking helmet.
That'd be pretty sick.
By the way, is anybody here have any sort of artisan's tools that could give me tattoos? Because Kunu loves his tattoos, and he doesn't know how to give himself tattoos.
I don't have any on me, but I probably know how. Honestly.
So Kunu would have been talking like at night and stuff about like the old rituals that he would do, like that he had like seen from like other Goliaths about like tattooing, but he doesn't really know anything about the rituals involved. So he just kind of tattoos himself whatever he thinks looks cool, and then he gives meaning to them like in his own weird way. So he'd probably been complaining for like the past, however long we've been together about like not having gotten a tattoo in a while. So if you wanted to pick up some ink in town and like tell Kunu that you could tattoo him as a way of me not hating you anymore, that would be great.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm gonna even buy thieves' tools. Like, it's kind of weird to go and be like, hey, do you guys have thieves' tool?
Just go look for the shadiest bar in town, because they always have the Thieves Guild.
Fair. Alright.
Just find the bar that nobody wants to be in, where everybody is sitting quietly at a table and nobody's being boisterous.
Did you guys talk over any changes?
Yeah, if it's cool with you, I think we're going to start. You're 3 hours behind Eastern, right?
It's 6:43 for me.
Okay, yeah, I think we're going to start at 4 your time. If that's
Yeah,
cool.
I think we're just gonna keep it at the same times, and then just
Okay.
call it 4-hour sessions.
All right, sounds good.
4 hour sessions starting it. And I told everybody, like, sometimes I might have dinner at, like, exactly 7 o'clock. And on those days, like, I'm totally fine with you guys just starting, and I'll just be, like, quiet or sick or whatever for the first few minutes.
That sounds good. Is everybody here and ready to get fucked up?
I don't think so.
Daxon is not bad yet.
Gotcha. Okay. We will chill.
But Daxon also said when he stepped away that he might pass out while he's gone. So if he
Yeah.
doesn't return in a few minutes, we might just have to play the rest without
Oh shit.
Barrow. Apparently he
Um,
hasn't slept.
Oh.
Oh. So I grew up at like an orphanage as like a roguish type guy. Do I know how to do like shitty tattoos?
As a roguish type guy.
Yeah. As a half-elf roguish type guy. I don't know.
We're not necessarily talking about like anything that looks good. Just like, would he understand the process of like inking under someone's skin?
Probably not.
Okay.
Shit. Alright. Can I make like an intelligence roll to like imagine how I would do that?
So,
Yes.
because
Can I do that right now?
Sure.
Just straight
Illusion,
intelligence?
I told them while you were gone that Kunu probably has been complaining, like at night when we're all sitting around the fire before bed, about his lack of tattoos recently, because Kunu has seen Goliaths that, walk around with no shirts on and stuff, and they're always tattooed, and it seems like very ritualistic, and like it seems like it has a lot of meaning. But Kunu was raised by dwarves, so he doesn't know any of the meaning, and he can't read up on any of it. So instead, what Kunu does is he just gets tattoos, and then he gives them his own meaning.
Oh, okay.
doesn't really like make any sense compared to normal Goliath tattoos, but it's like important to Kuno, and so he's probably been complaining about the lack of tattoos lately.
I see. Okay,
I
well,
rolled
we were
a natural 19.
Oh,
I don't know what you want to add to that.
okay. So you know that it has to do with inking skin, and you have an idea that if you could acquire the right tools, you might be able to do it. You also come up with the idea of possibly like cutting the skin and rubbing ink on it, hopefully having that set in. But you're worried that with the wrong tools, you might actually poison somebody by doing that. So you think that you could do it if you get your hands on it. You might be able to give it a try, but you know that there's specific tools that you'll have to pick up.
Tattooing.
Welcome back, sir.
Kuno
Hello.
wants to be tattooed.
And as far as things go for the high elves, by the way, the closest thing that they would really have is like they would brand slaves, but no one's gonna go through the trouble of actually tattooing them. It's not really like a big thing in their culture.
No tattooing some numbers into their slaves or anything?
No, because you could just burn it on them way easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Tattooing takes time, but it's like just take a hot piece of metal and be like, there you go, that's fine.
Alright.
So we're all back, I believe. Soup, are you there?
Yeah.
Mac?
Yep.
Alright, okay. We're all here. We're gonna start at 4, normal time, blah 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 blah. Let's see. Ah, yes. Got a couple of you going into town to get messed up.
Oh,
Did you
Yeah.
say to get messed up?
Get stuff.
Oh, like, oh god, what do we do?
Going to get drunk.
So Talius and Mac head into town, leaving the rest back at the camp. The two of you wander towards this low, like 4-foot tall, like mud brick building, and all the adobe buildings that are behind it as well. As you step in between different tents and past different stables and things like that, you finally make it into the town. What do you guys want to do?
Look for the shadiest bar that might have thieves' tools.
And possibly tattoo tools.
Interesting. Okay. I would like both of you to make perception checks for me, please.
Alrighty. My
Perception.
perception is a +3. We're gonna go roll with the purple die. Oh god, no!
17?
No.
17, okay.
Not enough.
Alright. As you look around, Talius, you spot something. Down the road, there is a couple sets of establishments that look like they're nice places where there's people walking outside and whatnot and heading in and out to maybe purchase things. And you can see a couple of stalls that are outside set up to sell items and things like that. And then you look down a different road and you realize that down that direction you see a bunch of people who are on the ground, like sitting there begging with little like bowls in front of them, and you can see people wandering about with tattered clothes. It looks like that's the neighborhood that's not doing particularly well. Is that where
Okay.
you're going?
I'm going to take my magic mystery chest and my pouch of gold and like fucking like guard it with my life. And I will not let what happened to the 1,000 gold happen to me. I
Okay.
refuse.
So you're
What
gonna
1,000
hold
gold?
this in your hands while you're going there. Like it's wrapped up, like bundled in your arms so that no one can pickpocket from you.
Well, yeah, I wrap it up in like a cloth or something so
Okay.
no one can see it, and then I fucking carry it.
Alright. So the two of you eventually head down into this district here. And as you wander in through this area, I'd like you to both make perception checks a second time.
Fuck.
Alright.
Oh my god. Modded 20.
Modded 20, okay. Both of you can tell as you go in through here that you're being watched. In fact, down an alleyway of a couple of mud brick buildings, there's a group of what looks to be 3 men wearing hoods and cloaks who stare in your direction, their eyes following you. When you look at them, one of them opens a door in a building and steps inside, and the rest follow him. The door closes behind him. What do you guys want to do? Are you going to continue looking for this bar?
Yes.
Yeah.
As you travel
not-
further in towards this area, you notice something. The streets begin to clear, and people seem to disappear almost. Before, when you had entered into this poor district, there were homeless people down on the side of the road, and some people wandering here and there. But windows have shut, and passers-by have become more and more disparate, less common. Lights go out, in fact. What do you guys want to do? Something is up. Nearby, you can see what looks like a tavern, but its windows are closed, and somebody has flipped the open sign into the closed position.
Maybe
Is
we
there
should
like an
leave.
order for this? Like, is it like closer to us and working its way down that this starts happening, or is it like just overall at once? Like,
It seems like a gradual thing, as though you've wandered into an area where everything has been deserted.
like is it as we go? Like we see people do this, or I'm trying to figure out. Like, is it as people spot us, or is it like something else going on? Because
No, it's like further that you go down the road, more and more shops are closed, and less people are in this area.
okay.
Maybe let's go back a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. The two of you turn to walk back, and as you do, you notice something. There's a couple of people watching you from some alleyways.
Through the stair.
All right, Mac. Do you have any way to get out of here?
Walk.
any other magical things?
Talk.
Fuck.
I
We
mean, I
might be
can make
losing that
friends.
box. And
Somebody
2 party
steps-
members.
Somebody steps out from an alleyway nearby and approaches. He's a cloaked man who has a hood drawn over his face that you barely see the bottom of his chin and his lips as he speaks to you. There's a few similarly clothed figures who follow behind him, so it's a group of maybe a half dozen, though it's clear that there's more watching. And one of them says to you, "You're in a bad neighborhood, kids."
What's in the box?
In what manner of bad neighborhood? Like, can you enlighten us?
One of them reaches and pulls a knife out from behind his cloak.
So, like, the type of bad neighborhood that you made it a bad neighborhood.
The guy in the front says, "Where are you guys from?"
The sea.
There's an awkward silence as the group stares at you.
I mean,
You guys want to do anything?
I'm gonna put my bundle into my backpack, and as I'm doing so, I just say, "Mac, run."
Fuck that. Well, I ain't leaving you behind.
No. Just fucking run. I'll be okay. I have my own way out, but you don't.
Okay, I just start running, even though I don't want to.
All right, and I'm gonna draw my swords, and I say, "All right, we could do this the easy way or the hard way. We're leaving."
They're all the easy way when it comes to him.
The group watches as Mac flees and runs down the street. People kind of step out of the way that he can escape, and the group sort of closes in on you here. And as you pull your swords, the one in front says, "Easy ways you hand over that pack there, kid."
It's not happening. So, look. Now, I'm looking to buy some thieves' tools. I'm wondering if any of you would be interested in that sale.
You dumb bitch.
Was that a no?
That's some fucking balls. I'm so proud. Who knew somewhere a single tear rolled cheek?
I'd like you to make an intelligence check for me, please, Talius. Investigation if you have it.
That's a +5. 19.
The man turns to you and he says, looking to buy something this kind of day, this kind of sun. Going through these streets left and right, trying to pick something up. And as he says this, you get the sense that he's actually got a concealed message in between his words. The way that he speaks to you and pauses on occasion, you think that this might be thieves' cant, which you've heard of, but never actually learned. The language used by those in the seedy underbelly of society. You're unable to decipher it, though you're pretty sure that he's trying to say something to you with it. What do you want to do? Mac by now is like down the street and no longer able to help you. Like he's hundreds of feet away.
Okay. That's good. Fuck. So do I know any thieves' cant? I spent like 60 years as a thief. So any at all.
Enough that you recognize that this is supposed to be thieves' cant, but you're not sure what he's trying to say.
Can I do like really broken message of I'm just looking to buy something?
Make a
It's probably
straight
gonna come out.
intelligence check for me.
Just try to remember real fucking hard.
Uh-oh.
Fuck. Intelligence, that's a 9.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
You try to speak some thieves' cant to the man, but he doesn't seem to be buying it. He steps towards you and places his hand on the top of the sword that is kind of concealed underneath his cloak here. You can barely see the hilt. As he looks towards you, he says, "Hand over that pack. Have any trouble?"
So that's a no on the sale of the thieves' tools. I'm gonna take the dodge action, by the way.
Okay.
And I would like to point out that I cast mage armor less than 8 hours ago.
Right. Sounds good.
Um,
The guy looks to you and he says, "Shame." And what is your AC right now?
fuck, my AC right now is 16 with disadvantage because I dodged. I'm dodging.
For the ones that you can see, at least.
Fuck. Alright.
You take 18 points of damage as
Alright.
3 crossbow shots fly into you from different directions, seemingly flying out of dark alleys or closed windows. Are you still conscious?
Just barely. And I'm going to bonus action Misty Step 30 feet away onto a roof, and then again away.
Okay. You appear onto a roof here all of a sudden, and from this vantage point you can see that close to you there is another man here. He has a crossbow in his hand, and he looks to you suddenly. What do you want to do? Are you just going to immediately try to escape?
I'm going to...
That's after his first Misty Step or his second one?
So he's just Misty stepped up onto the roof and seen that right beside where he landed on that rooftop, there's one of those people with a crossbow in his hand, like right beside you. Are you going to quickly try and Misty step again? It looks like he's surprised, like he looks over towards you in like a look of disbelief.
Do I see somewhere I can Misty Step to that's not going to be in the line of sight?
Anywhere on the roof, he'd still be able to shoot at you, but if you then go, like, into an alleyway nearby, he wouldn't be able to shoot at you unless he runs over to the building's edge.
Yeah, I'm going to Misty Step into an alley, and then start blade singing and just fucking bolt.
Okay. Make for me an acrobatics check, please.
Is this before or after I start blade singing?
After you blade sing, so you have advantage.
Yes. Sick. Alright. 22.
Okay. You quickly run over to the side there. You can hear the man as he calls out into the streets, and footsteps can be heard down below. He points his crossbow to you, but in a poof of smoke, you disappear as the bolt flies through the air, and you reappear down here in a dark alleyway. As you do so, you begin to run, and you try to run as fast as you possibly can, quickly turning a corner, and eventually you make it out into an area where there is a bunch of people who are wandering through the streets, and you've made it out of that seedy neighborhood after running past building after building.
Cool.
What do you
I
want
have
to
a
do?
40 movement speed, by the way.
They could still be following you, maybe within the crowds or from areas that you can't see. Are you going to try and get out of here? Try and find Mac? Try and do some shopping? What do you want to do?
What am I gonna do? Let's...
While you think about
Let's
that,
just
Casey, you
return
ran
to-
away a little while ago. Where would you go after being told to run?
Well, am I running back towards where we came from? Or...
Yes. Yeah, you're leaving that seedy neighborhood and running back kind of towards the gates almost.
I'm gonna run back to the nearest main street.
Okay. You would have gotten there by then and not seen Talius at all. Hopefully his plan has worked, but you've made it back safely out of here and no one has seemingly stopped you. What do you want to do?
I would like to look around for city officials, like guards.
Oh, okay. You look around, and sure enough, there are a few guards that walk here and there. As you go and step up to one, he looks over and he says, "Yes, what is it?"
This may be me overacting, but there was some shady gentleman, and I'll point down said alley and, like, attempting to take some things from my friend.
He looks down that way, and he goes, "Yep, sounds about right."
I just kind of, like, give him the,
He looks at you and looks you up and down and says, "Oh, you must be new around here. Don't travel down there unless you have to, my friend."
So are you gonna help him?
Oh, your friend's still alive?
Yes!
He pushes like an empty hand towards you. His hand is cupped here in front and waiting. What do you want to do?
like he's trying to shake my hand? Is that what this is?
No, like it's a receptacle, like you're meant to put something there.
Nah, man, he's expecting coin.
Nigga, I ain't got nothing on me. I pull out the bag of seashells.
You pull out a bag of seashells.
This is all I got to my name.
He just looks at you and he says, "Huh, well, best life, I suppose."
Fucking Christ, you coward. And I run back down the alley.
No.
Okay. Meanwhile, what do you want to do, Talius?
I'd assume that Mac took my direction. Well, actually, I know Mac, but fuck. I'm gonna start looking around for Mac.
Okay, make a perception check for me.
God damn it.
And Mac is loud, so the DC won't be too high.
God damn.
14.
Off in the distance, running back towards the problem area, you see Mac, who's about to go down that street
God
again.
damn it. I just call out, Mac!
You hear
You
him.
stupid fuck! Come back here.
You almost dead fuck!
As you call out,
Yeah.
Talius, you notice something. There's a dark figure approaching you through the crowds, and you have a bad feeling about them. A cloak falls over his head that you can't see his features, but it seems like it grows closer and closer to you as it passes from one person to another.
Oh, fuck, I should have shielded. I'm a fucking idiot. Whatever.
Aneurysm.
From the crossbow bolts? I don't know
Yeah.
if you can shield people you can't see. It requires a reaction. I'm
Did
not
I
sure.
see one
I don't
attack?
I wouldn't have allowed it, to be honest, because you don't even
Fuck.
know until you're hit.
Fuck. Alright. Oh well. Shit. I'm gonna minor illusion a large like bang next to the man. Just to try to disorient him.
Okay. A loud noise goes off, thunderous with sound. A bunch of people look over in that direction, and the crowd begins to kind of look at one another, and people step out of the way. It does seem to disrupt this man's path, and he is kind of forced to the side as the crowd moves.
Can I like try to stealth into the crowd?
Sure. Yeah, make a stealth check for me.
Shit.
What is that?
13.
Ah. You slip away into the crowd and start to head towards Mac. Mac, you heard your friend call out for you. What would you do?
Wait, did I hear him call me a dumb bitch?
Yes. You hear the whole thing.
You're the fucking dumb bitch! And I kind of like just stop in my place and like I'm trying to. I don't know how far away I am, but I'm assuming I don't have like a good grasp of what's going on. But I stop and I just
Okay.
kind of like observe my surroundings and I'm watching to see what happens.
From a crowded street, eventually Talius emerges from in between the people and makes his way over to you. What are you guys gonna do?
Talius, let's get the fuck out of here.
Please,
Okay.
please do.
What?
You see that there are different different crossbow bolts stuck into his body in different parts, and there's blood that is quickly
I'm-
running into his clothes.
I
Told
am
you
in
you're a
much-
dumb bitch, and I
much
cast
pain.
Cure Wounds.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Roll that heal.
Nope, that's only 5.
Okay, well, 5 health is 5 health.
That is a quarter of my entire health pool.
Rip.
Are the two of you headed back towards the camp?
Yes.
Okay.
We
You guys
need
leave
tools.
the town, one of you heavily wounded, and eventually make it between the tents and past the stables, getting back to the group. All of you guys have been around the campfire here and feeling nice and rested. As the two of them come back, and Talius is not looking good.
What happened to?
God, I fucking hate my old peers.
Did you get robbed?
Almost.
Well, I guess that's better than getting robbed.
Yeah.
What were you looking for that you would get robbed?
I was looking for some thieves' tools to, get your fucking bracelets off.
Couldn't you just ask for lock picking? I don't know. It's what. I actually don't know.
Well, where do you propose I get lockpicks?
Like a trader's guild? I'm sure that's. I mean, there are locks on doors. Someone has to make them. That's probably something people can buy.
Would I feel like with my with my smith tools, I could create a simple lockpick? Or like a few lockpicks?
You think you could, though you believe you would need a forge to do so.
Okay. Hey, let me have some of that gold back. I'll come back in a bit with some picks for you.
Alright, I hand him over. Let's just go 35 gold.
Okay.
Alright. And then I will drop off, like, a significant chunk of my pack here. Like, the Minotaur horns, all the rations, and the pieces of Romero's shield that I'm carrying. So that my bag isn't, like, this giant lump of stuff holding me down. And then I'll head off into the town.
Roll perception for me, please.
Okay.
Can I take a short rest?
You can certainly try.
It's a 15 perception.
Okay. As you're walking along, you're passing by the nearest camp and all of its tents and its horses, which have been put into the stable. And as you go past, you see a couple of men wearing different cloths and robes, speaking with one another. It's hush-hush, but you're able to hear what they're saying. And one of them says, the one's next to us? And the other one goes, yes.
Motherfucker.
Am I loud? Am I close enough to everybody right now that if I talked in a loud voice, they'd hear?
You're close enough that you would have to yell, but yeah, if you yelled, they would hear.
Okay, I'm gonna yell at the top of my lungs, "Are you the fuckers who shot up my friend?" And I'm gonna try and be as like large and intimidating as possible as I scream at them.
Oh. Immediately, the two look at you. Shock runs over their face. I'd like you to make an intimidation check, please.
Okay.
A couple of other people in the area have stopped what they're doing as well as they watch the spectacle.
Ah, that's only a 9.
The two of them are startled, and one of them looks over at you, and the other one quickly ducks into a tent. And the guy who's still outside says, "Wild accusations. No, I have not done such a thing."
Uh-huh. Well, why don't you come over and talk to my friend with me then and see what he has to say about that? And I'm gonna like start approaching him, like hands on my great axe as I'm walking towards him.
He looks at you and he says, "Leave me be, crazed man. I'll call the guard if you come any closer." And he like steps over towards his tent like he's ready to step inside.
Okay. I'll just like stand there. I'll be like, all right then. Well, I'll just stand here. If I see any of you fuckers come towards our tent, it'll be your heads.
He looks around to see if there's any people who are like within earshot, and sure enough, there are plenty who kind of meet his gaze and see you as well. And they, upon being looked at by this man, quickly try to mind their own business and like go step into their own tents or like pretend to hum as they go and like start like brushing their horses. And the man standing in front of you shrinks away into his tent.
Okay. I'll just like wait here, occasionally looking back towards my tent to see if anybody is coming this way from...
All of you would hear this. What do you guys want to do?
Scimitars ready, heading out.
Okay.
Same.
Alright.
Yeah, I guess same.
So you guys
You
all get
can't
up and head
simply-
towards him. And eventually, after a minute, find yourself next to Kunu, who is standing in front of a tent with his great axe in his hands.
You
There are
can't
people
simply
trying to
just
pay
start.
attention to their own stuff.
You can't simply just start harassing people in the streets. Not even. That is not how this country works.
Nah, I heard them talking shit about Talius here. Saying something about that one, the tent next over. Point
Did
guard.
they sound like me?
I don't know. I don't do accents.
Can I
They look shady as fuck, though.
like minor illusion some of like the faces that I saw?
Ooh.
Be like, are any of these the guys?
You could try and recreate it. Make it straight Arcana check.
Hey, I'm pretty good at those.
Okay.
It's a 16.
You recreate the faces as best you can, but the men were hooded, and so obviously you can't give a lot of detail. As you're shown these pictures, Kunu, you don't think that these are any of the men.
I couldn't be sure, but I don't know. These guys just seem sketchy. Somebody might want to watch this tent. And then with that, I'm just going to turn and start walking towards the town. I've made them aware of the threat, at least.
I'm going to like tap on the side of their tent, like with just, I don't know, just like rap on it a little bit. Excuse me, is there, am I able to talk to anyone?
Don't want any trouble? Just turn away, please.
No, I was wondering if I could talk to you, what has happened? Why is he so angry?
Are you with the big one that has the axe outside?
Am I with him? I mean, no, he's walking away.
There's a sigh, or perhaps a breath of relief, and a couple of footsteps, and eventually the tent sort of opens up, though the man stays beyond the threshold, and he looks over at you, and his features seem to relax as he recognizes you as like a native of the land.
What has happened here?
Well, me and my friend, we were talking, and suddenly this one screams out and starts accusing us of something and pulls out his weapon.
Why would he do that?
I don't know. He looks over your shoulder and seems to take on a worried look as he stares at all of your armed friends standing in the desert sun there.
I went back to the tent, our tent, to continue my short rest.
Okay.
I'll just sit down from. No, just don't worry about this. I'm concerned. Don't want harm to come to.
Make a persuasion check for me, please.
Ooh. Alright. What do I got for that? Oh, I don't. Huh. Interesting. What? Okay. Well, it was gonna be a 3 no matter what. So that's 6.
Okay. Well, he looks at you and he says, "Look, you folks are trouble. I don't want to have any piece of it, okay? If you want us out of here, we'll go."
No. Trust me, you're a part of this camp. It's no, it's fine. We were just looking for shelter, and I guess one of his friends came into trouble in the city. Would I know that this happens inside of Dees?
Oh. You know that, yeah, there's some bad neighborhoods. But you don't know what he did to get shot 3 times.
What? Why? Can you tell me more about the city? We're more in the center of the desert, and honestly, towns aren't my favorite thing.
He looks
just
at you
need
and
to
he
make
says, "No, your group is bad luck. I will not speak anymore." And he closes the front of the tent.
Cut.
Yes. Well, see, manners are not the thing. I'm just gonna see Kunu walking off in the distance. Go over. Are you all right, masked man?
I've been better.
Okay. Well, we had a long rest, yeah.
Well, earlier, but here waiting outside of the town, you guys have
Okay.
not quite got a short rest in yet. Not for Talius, at least.
All right. I will. So I should have all 15 of my
Yes.
lay on hands. So I will give him 10 of those.
Okay, so you remove the bolts and heal him
Thank
up
you.
as best you can.
I'm going to go after your large. He seems very angry, and it's not best to walk the streets alone in the desert. And I'm gonna go try to find Kuno.
Okay. You go running after Kunu. And Kunu, you've made it into the city at this point. It's busy, there's people here and there. What do you want to do?
I will take out my my letter that I've had Mac check for me to make sure it's legit, and then I'll just walk up to a guard and be like, "Do you know where there's any blacksmitheries around here? Some place where I can get some work done on a forge?"
Your letter says that you're a member of the crafting guild, right?
Yeah, it basically says that I'm a vetted blacksmith. I know what I'm doing.
Okay.
I don't know if it necessarily says. I think I am a guild artisan, so it would say probably some sort of guild. But
Okay. He looks at it and he goes, "Oh yeah, down the street, plenty of blacksmiths there, closer to the lake."
thank you, friend, and I'll just stride off in that direction.
Okay. As you head further down there, you pass by crowds of people and eventually get to an area where there's plenty of shops here and there, and the clanging can be heard from nearby buildings where it seems that you've been given proper information. Sure enough, the sounds of blacksmiths can be heard here.
I'll just find whatever seems to be the closest blacksmith and walk in and or knock on the door if the door's not open or whatever.
Okay. You're able to step inside. The door is wide open, as if to let the hot air kind of escape from the building. And as you step inside, you can see what looks to be a small crew of people who are working over by an anvil, and one person who stands behind a counter who looks as though he's counting coin and weighing out some different metals on a scale. He looks over and he gives you a nod as you step inside.
Hello, friend. I'm looking to do a little bit of work on a forge. Wouldn't happen to have one I could rent. I'm a guild artisan, and I hold up my letter.
Let me see.
Pass it over.
He takes the papers and looks at them and hands them back over to you after a minute. He says, "Oh. My forge is as good as any, but if you want to use it, it's going to cost you."
How much we talking? I'd need to buy a little bit of some raw material too, if you wouldn't mind.
Need to use it for the day, say, a few gold.
Okay. How about for some material?
How much
I
do
don't
we
need much. Maybe just like a pound of wood
Another
block
gold.
mix,
How
I
about
guess.
5 for the whole thing?
Sounds fine to me.
Yeah, he gives you a nod and reaches behind the counter, pulling out a slab of metal. He places it there, and then he shouts over to some of the crew members, and they kind of clear out, finishing their work there and disappearing into a back room. He turns back towards you, and as he waits to see the gold here, he kind of looks expectantly towards you and the table.
I hand him 5 gold pieces,
Okay.
and I also, while I'm like getting the gold out of my pouch, I'll ask him, you don't do any work on jewelry by any chance, do you?
No,
Like
no,
metal
that's...
setting for it.
I don't do any of that.
Okay. Well, would you be able to gesture me in that general direction when I'm finished here, by any chance? I have some raw metals that I need to get rid of, like to sell.
Oh, well, I'm buying if that's what you mean.
I take out the like slab of the metal jewelry that we'd gotten from the Minotaur camp.
Oh,
Just like it's like a pound of like silver and gold and stuff that they just threw into the fire. It's obviously needing a lot of work, so
20 gold. How's that?
can I insight check him to see if he's like pulling one over on me?
Please do.
Well, that's a natural 3, so 5.
You have no idea.
It's as good a deal as any.
He gives you a wide smile and makes the exchange, handing you 20 gold in exchange for this large chunk of like gemstones and gold, just kind of, fused together. As you go to work, he turns to you here, and it's only the two of you in the room since his crew has disappeared, and he says, a cup of tea.
That would be fantastic. Thanks, friend.
So, traveler like yourself must have many stories. Where do you hail from?
Well, originally I started out in Marenheim. I learned to craft from the dwarves there, actually.
Did you get your papers there?
I did. I apologize if the dwarvish is, or if their handwriting is hard to read or anything.
Oh, no, it's fine. I have wanted to join for some time. Happy to lend the forge to an artisan.
Ah, I see. Is
So
he
do you like the
ins-
desert then, compared to the lands of the dwarves?
Well, I'll tell you, friend. I'm more accustomed to working in colder weathers, but the heat's not been too much of a problem for me so far.
Lucky things are good now. Sometimes the sun is gone for too long, and well, winter has been rough.
I see. How long has the winter been going on?
Ugh, extra season.
It's been some time since I've been in town. What day is it?
He pauses for a second and tells you that it is. He tells you that it's the 23rd summer.
What?
Wow.
I thank you for your kindness, and if I need any more work done, I'll be sure to come back to your shop here.
Say, since we're friends and everything, you wouldn't be able to maybe put in a good word for me over at the Craftsman's Guild, would you?
Oh, do they have a guild hall here? Or would that
Yes,
be
yes, they do.
Let me see some of your work then, so I know what I'm agreeing to here beforehand. But as long as you got some, decent pieces, I can't see why a recommendation is out of the ordinary here.
He takes a choice piece off of the wall and shows to you a scimitar that's been hanging there. As you look at it, I would like you to go ahead and make for me either an investigation or a perception check, your choice.
Okay, I will choose perception.
Since you're a craftsman, this DC will not be too high.
Okay, cool. Get out of here, Max.
Jesus
Oh
fuck.
no! That is only an 8. Or
Okay.
no, sorry, that is only a 7.
Only a 7. You stare this thing over and kind of look at it. It seems like it's pretty average. That's what you walk away from the encounter. Like you look at this and it just looks like gear that you would see on some like average bandits. Not really something that would be fit for a king or anything like that, or particularly well made.
Okay, but it doesn't look like, with my 7, it doesn't look like it's gonna like fall apart if somebody swings it or anything, right?
No.
All right, I'll after I finish up here, I'll head over there and I'll see about putting in a good word for you, Mister. And I like hold my hand out.
Oh, he goes to shake your hand and tells you that his name is Mehmed.
Mr. Mehmed. Write a note right here. Where is Bond? All right.
I'd like you to go ahead and make that blacksmith check for me. Strength
Yes.
plus the tool proficiency. Let's see if you manage to make this on your first go. It's not something that you've done before, and it's very sort of like fine work. Ah.
It's a 22.
By the time that you're done here, you've managed to make some rudimentary lockpicks. Now, being somebody who doesn't do any lockpicking exactly, you're sort of going off of an idea and not like a real blueprint in your head. But you managed to finish it, and after some time, you can put these into your backpack. So you can put like basic lockpicks into your inventory.
Okay. Like a set, like one basic set of lockpicks.
Yes.
Okay.
Back over in the camp, everybody who is there has gotten a short rest.
Oh, thank you.
Well, looks like my work here is done, friend, and I should get over to the guild. Could you give me directions to it so I can give you a recommendation there?
He kind of pats you on the back here and points out of a window at a building across the way. And you can see that he's pointing towards one that has like 3 stories on the other side of the large street here.
Okay. I'll thank him again and shake his hand and step out. This is probably a good time for me to ask, like, how much weight does like a recommendation of a guild member carry?
Ah.
Would I know that? Or is that like a regional thing?
You're not sure what to expect here in the human lands. You know that back with the dwarves, being a member of the guild and recommending somebody's work can carry a lot of weight. You don't know how it's going to be with the humans.
Okay. Well, I will make my way over to the guild hall then.
Ah, okay.
There's a lot of like blacksmiths here, right? Like, if I needed to get work done, I could do it somewhere else.
Yes,
kind
there
of
are a
thing?
couple of other ones that can easily be identified here.
Okay, cool. I'll make my way over to the artist, the guild then.
Okay.
Cheeky.
Meanwhile, back at the camp, you all notice what appears to be a group moving towards you between the tents. What do you guys want to do?
Where am I? Like, I'm just, like, running around trying to find Kuno.
Oh, right. You're looking for Kuna, so you'd be in the town trying to find him. We'll say that you bump into him while he's traveling through towards the guild hall.
Okay.
But meanwhile,
Well,
for the
they-
rest of you
Yeah,
four,
they can go first.
what are you guys going to do? You see a group of what looks to be about 8 men traveling towards your group.
Do I recognize any of them?
Ah. As you look over at them, go ahead and make an insight check.
Motherfucker. Seven.
Staring at them, you get an uneasy vibe from them, but their features are... they're not familiar.
I just sigh. I say, I fucking hate this town. My scimitars. What a shitty town.
Okay.
So fucking dry. I hate the sand. Gets everywhere.
What are the rest of you guys doing?
Mac, are you muted?
Yeah, Matt is muted. Varys is permanently muted.
Fuck! I muted to blow my nose like 20 minutes ago.
Rip.
I've said so much.
Welcome back, friend.
I was like, it's not like Casey to be quiet for this long. Something's going on.
So all of you are around the camp, and Talius pulls out his swords, looking off in the distance. You can see that his gaze meets a group of 8 men traveling towards you, and he starts to curse the city and the sand.
Put your swords away, Talius. Be courteous until trouble occurs. Let's try and be civil here. There might not be an issue.
Man, who the fuck are you?
Trying not to let my character die.
It's not bad advice. Okay.
We can be civil about this, everyone.
Yeah, who all's at camp? It's me, Talius, Bailey, Billy.
I like Bailey.
Bailey and Barrow. Oh no, Barrow is gone.
And Varys.
Yeah, Varys is there.
And it's like, everyone stand up, be courteous, be on your best behavior. And I just stare at Talius, like, on your best behavior.
I'm gonna kind of hide my my scimitars into my robes a little bit, but like fucking handle or hands both on both of them.
Okay. The group makes their way over towards you, and it seems as though they are ready for combat as well. Their hands hover close to their weapons, some of them rested on the pommels of their swords. And there's an awkward sort of standoff as they stop 10 feet away from your group.
Do these guys look like they're guard, or do they look like they're other travelers?
Ah. They look like mercenaries.
Boy, this just got fun.
No proper guardsman uniforms, though it's clear that they are ready for battle if need be.
Gentlemen, how can we help you?
One of them steps forward. He doesn't look like any of the men from this land. He has considerably fairer skin compared to them. He looks like he would maybe be someone from Bavaria, or maybe Kuzil, or even Freehold, perhaps. He gives you a nod, stepping forward, and says, causing a bit of a stir.
Not by choice, I assure you, and I apologize for any inconvenience.
Purely an accident.
My lord would like to speak with you, though I'm told that you traveled with a group larger than 4.
Yes. And why would your lord, and who is your lord?
He looks to you and he stares over at Belay and then says, while staring at him, I assure you it's not Abu Jalen.
Well, that's reassuring.
That's not the question I asked you. I asked who is your lord, why does he want to see us, and why should we? I mean, does he hold dominion over us or this town?
Well, he's one of the town's lords, so there is some power that he wields. He prefers to remain in the shadows for now. I don't wish to speak of this much more than I have to out in, well, these circumstances. You see he looks left and right amidst all the tents and everything. And then he turns back to you and he says, surely we can find a more hospitable place to talk.
I respect you and your lord's wishes, and I believe that we will comply. I don't think we'll have any problem, but would you consider waiting for the rest of my party to return so that we could be as one?
Sure. We'll return within the hour.
Thank you.
The man gives you a nod and then turns around and they all make their leave.
I turn to the group like, we're getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, we need to go, go, go. Shit.
Are you guys gonna do anything here? You know that two of you are off in the city somewhere, and you four have been left out here, and things are getting complicated.
I would like to very calmly, like non-noticeably, like pack things up, but like I'm not putting them away like we're getting ready to leave. Like I'm tidying up camp. That way when we're ready to leave, it's like 5 minutes and we're out.
Okay, alright. Yeah, you get everything so it's like ready to move on a moment's notice. How about everybody else?
I'm just gonna keep watch.
Okay. Back in the town, Kunu, you're about to travel across the way when quick footsteps make their way up to you, and you see your party's newest member, Barrow, as he runs up to you, and also the only local in the area.
Hey there, Barrow? Bar?
Yes. It doesn't really matter. A name is a name as far as it goes. But did you find everything you were looking for? You left in a bit of a mad dash.
Yeah, I did some work over there. I point over at the blacksmith and I sold some stuff, made a little bit of coin, and now I'm gonna go recommend that guy to the guild. Well, between you and me, I'm gonna talk to them first and see what they think about him. But as long as they don't have anything bad to say about him, I don't see why not.
Are you a merchant?
Artisan. Smith.
Oh, well.
I
that
hand over
is-
my letter towards him.
Oh, wow, this is phenomenal. Can I read the letter?
The letter is written in common, and in all the proper seals and everything, shows that he's a member of the Crafting Guild, a dwarven one, it appears.
God,
He's apparently an accomplished blacksmith.
Forgive me, but I did not take you for such a skilled man. It's quite impressive. Well,
Yeah, learned my whole life, so took me a little bit longer, I think, than most, but I got around to it eventually. Once
well,
you
obviously, as far as this goes.
once you show me what to hit, I'm pretty good at hitting things.
God
This
damn it.
is fair. You kind of look like.
You
Well,
want to come with me to the guild? Do I know about like bringing non-members into the guild hall? Is that like frowned upon?
You can bring him, but there's usually rooms past which he can't really go into.
Okay. I shouldn't be too long. Is there anything you needed to do in town?
no, I just wanted to make sure that you didn't have to deal with some more of my kinsmen alone.
Well, if you want to walk with me, you're welcome. Or if you want to take what I got back to the camp, you can bring the goods back to Talius too. Either way
I'll
is
stay
fine.
with you for now. I want to make sure that my people's customs
Sure.
are upheld, but at the same time, I don't want them to insult you.
Okay.
Illusion, it's worth asking at this point because people are talking about it in Discord. I am supposed to have like a fee to pay for this, so I assumed that like when I joined the session, my dues were all paid up front.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know if it's been like a new season or like a new pay thing since then. So if I need to, I'll go get my papers renewed when I get into the guild hall first.
Okay.
How much? Yeah, how much time has gone by? I'm pretty sure, like, as, like, Dax, the player, hasn't it been, like, 2 seasons since we all met up in Ko Saiza?
That was no, I think about 1 season maybe.
Okay.
You probably owe like 15 gold.
So I'll pop in the door and head over to like the whatever like the form of like the bursar or like where I would pay is.
Okay. Stepping inside, you can see that there's a few people chit-chatting in some sort of lobby here, and over at a main desk you approach, and the man gives you a look and a nod and says, "Gentlemen, what can I do for you?"
I slide my papers across the table along with a little stack of 15 gold and ask him if he can update them for me accordingly.
He quickly gives them a once-over, and then with a speed pulls out different stamps and things like that, and soon hands the papers back to you and takes the gold. Says, "If there's anything else, please let me know."
Real quick, I don't know if you're the right person to talk to about this, but do you know anything about Mehmet across the street there?
Roll persuasion with advantage. Oh shit. Okay.
That is a 22.
The man kind of beckons for you to come closer, that he might speak to you in a hushed tone. You do so?
Yeah, I do.
He says, "Between you and me, Ahmed asks all the time. He sent you over here, didn't he?"
Yeah, he, well, first of all, he charged me to use his forge, which is weird for guild members, but I'm in a bit of a hurry, so I didn't really care. And then, he asked me to come over here and recommend him, but the whole thing just kind of had a shady vibe to it, so I figured I'd check with you guys first.
I've seen your papers. You're a long way from home, friend. Let me tell you how things work here. Ahmed, his work is subpar. He doesn't really know how things work here either. Sorry he charged you for the forge, but, you know, it's his forge. He can do that if he wants, I guess. Just come here and use our facilities if you need anything in the future.
Sure.
As for his work, I don't know. Maybe one day he'll finally get good enough, but right now he's failed so many trials. I don't think the guy's getting in.
Fair enough. Well, if he asks about me, tell him I stopped in, because, you know, I don't want to have bad reputation with the man. But as far as my recommendation goes, I can't actually give him any. I looked at a piece of his work and it just seemed pretty plain. So
yeah, he gives you a nod and kind of a pat on the shoulder, and he says, "Hey, I know how it is."
not to mention, I'm pretty sure he shorted me for some metals, but I didn't have any use for them. Anyway, thanks for updating my papers, and I wish you guys the best of luck. And if there's anything you need from me, I'll be at the tent camp right outside town.
Okay. The guy gives you a nod as you turn to leave. And
All
are
right.
you guys headed back to camp?
Yeah, I'll look over at Barrow.
Please.
Anything you need?
No, I'm more than happy with what I have. I have my pole arms, and that is all I need.
All right, let's get to it then.
Right?
Okay.
I'll head back out. On the way, like when I get to the door, I'll like stop and I'll be like, "Oh right," and I'll take out the two pieces of the shield, and I'll like look back over at the guy, and I'm gonna say, "Obviously not today. I've been working for a little while anyway, but do you think these two could be reforged?" I hold up the two halves of Romero's shield.
Man looks it over and he says, "It'll take some time. I think it could be done."
Awesome. Does the guild sell raw materials, by the way?
Of course.
If I come back? All right, cool. Well, thanks again for all your help, and good luck with everything. And I'll make my way out.
He gives you a nod as you step outside. Are the two of you headed back to your camp?
Yeah, I'm just making sure that, like, everything is copacetic, really.
As you're wandering through the streets, you spot a friendly face, one that spots you as well, Barrow. Or is it Barrow or Barrow?
It does. I think it's Barrow.
Barrow?
Or-
Okay. Barrow, down the road, you see Zalar. He's a friend of your father's and a merchant that does business with him. So you've seen him chit-chat with your father many times. And you know that he doesn't live in Jakuta. He's like more of a roaming trader who's in and out of the country. He quickly looks over and smiles and stops what he's doing to approach you.
What's his name again? Zara?
Zalar.
Zalar. Wow, I was off. I'm making sure I'm writing that down. I'm just getting like I'm. Eh. It's good to see a friendly face. How are you, Zalar?
Oh, I'm good. It's been a long time. How have you and your father been?
Well, I can't speak so much for him. It's been a little while since I've seen him myself. I've been roaming the land, but I'm sure he's well. As far
Since
as
you're
I
out
go,
on a shopping trip, you're a bit outside of your home.
it's become a new passion of mine. I've been taken in by the whims of another calling, if you might say. But recently I've come on to strange happenings in the city. How do you know it?
Strange happenings? Well, I do a lot of business here. What do you mean?
I'm gonna pull him off to the side of the road, like into a bit of a like.
Okay.
Sort
Kudu,
of-
you're gonna keep walking?
Maybe not at first, because I don't want to be too rude to this new guy. But when he pulls the guy aside and it seems like he wants some privacy, I'll
Let's
just
keep
like
going.
wave to him and then walk back towards the camp.
Okay. So you pull Zalar
wait.
off from the main road here for a second, and Kunu heads off. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'll just like put a hand up and just be like, "Hey, I'll catch up."
Okay.
I'll look to Zalar and just say, yes, I was pursuing this passion, and you know how from time to time my father and I would make camp in ruins, yeah?
He nods to you and he says, "Yeah, your family is fond of that, aren't they?"
Yeah, quite, yes. Well, I was exploring one the other day, and I can't remember what happened, but next thing I knew, well, I wasn't in the ruin anymore, and I'll just like hold up my arms and like uncover a bit of the chains and like
A panicked look
Suddenly-
quickly runs over Zalar's face, and he grabs
Seeing
your
this, I'll
arm and
quickly-
stuffs it away so that like it can't
Yeah.
be seen.
as soon as he does that, yeah, I would have started. I know I'm not sure what happened, but someone was saying that I'm no longer my own man. This isn't right.
Baro, be careful out there. There's talk amongst the merchants. Things have been strange in town lately. There's been talk of slave trade coming up again. When did this happen?
Not entirely sure. It was warm still when it happened, so I don't know how long it's been. Like I said, I have no memories of this. All I have memories are from being transferred from cage to cage.
You're lucky to be alive, friend. How did you escape?
You saw that, large man?
He nods
That's
to
more
you.
or less. Yeah, that's more or less the answer.
Be careful
I-
in town. Like I said, there's most of the talk is from here, and I don't want anything to happen to you.
Thank you, my friend. I want to fix this. I want to make sure this is handled correctly, but I don't feel I'm going to be capable of doing it. Do you have any counsel? Should I just try to keep away?
He pauses for a second and looks once again, And then he turns to you and whispers into your ear, and he says, "They say even the town guard is behind it. People disappearing in the night. Large amounts of money moving from one to another. I wish I knew more. What I can tell you is that I'm not going to be doing much more business in Addis anymore."
I'm just going to clench my fist. Even the town guard is in on it.
At least some
There's
of them.
not
That's
much.
what the people say.
There's not much I would be able to do. Thank you for the counsel, friend. I need to make haste out of here. Be safe.
He gives you a
Maybe.
nod, and then he kind of gives you a brief embrace, and he says, "Be careful out there, friend. Give your
Hopefully,
regards to my father, or your father."
I shall. And mind your family.
He gives you a nod and quickly heads back out into the crowded streets.
I will put up my my cloth now to make sure that only my eyes are showing and sprint back to Kuno.
Okay. You are soon in the safety of Kunu's incredibly large presence again as you guys get back towards the gates. What do you want to
Old friend, huh?
Yes, very. We need to get out of here though. Yeah.
But yeah, we're going back to the camp.
No, this city. As soon as we get back, we need to tell them that we need to leave.
Back at the camp. The mercenaries return. What do you guys want to do? You can see them approaching. They're not quite onto the edge of your camp yet, but they can be seen moving through the area, and your two companions are still not back yet.
Have I mentioned how much I hate this town?
I
I mean-
kind of step forward and wait for them expectantly.
Okay.
Same.
The group
Fuck.
eventually gets over here, and one of them steps forward. It's the same one from before. It's some foreigner from a different land, and he calls out and says, "There's still 4. Where are the other 2?
We
I'm-
wish we knew, honestly. You could stay here for another 30 minutes. I'm sure they'll show up.
He gives a nod to his men, and soon they kind of step over and sit amongst themselves, not mingling with your group. They keep in a huddle, but they do so within your camp. And as you guys return, Kunu and Baro, you make your way towards the camp here through all the tents, and can see from a distance that there's a group of what looks to be armed men also in the camp.
How many armed men?
8.
Just going to clench on my sheets and make sure my chains are well covered.
Okay.
Aro,
Yes.
you're from these lands. Those
Yes.
guys look as bad news to you as they do to me.
After what I just heard from my friend, yes.
Now, where I'm from, the solution to this is to go in swinging and ask questions later.
I'm just
I'll
going to
yield
stand
to
around.
your decision in this, but there's a few of them that are sitting down, and well, I like to hit them hard while they're down.
I'm going to look
So
at
what do you
him.
say?
Just
We go in and crack a few skulls.
God, this can go.
can I scan the camp and it's a cluster of tents, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Does it look like there's anything else going on here?
Make a perception check for me and see what you can see.
Okay. What is? That's an 8.
8. As you look around, you don't see anything else going on. In fact, a little piece of sand flies into the side of your eye there for a second.
I don't mean any offense, but where I'm from, there's often people hiding in the sand waiting for the prey to attack.
I'll
I'm
look
worried
around
that-
when he says that.
I'm worried that
Do I
there are
see
going to be
anybody
people
in
hiding.
the sand?
Perception check.
Goddamn sand people.
That's an 11.
You do not see any.
I only see the 8 there.
It's likely that they're hidden in the tents or something, but did you remember seeing the masked one, Talius? How he was covered with arrows?
Yeah, that's why I screamed at that tent. Those 2 yellow bellies hid in there. Shut the gate on me.
I doubt that was with him knowing where they were coming from. I would hesitate on attacking first, but wait, is there anything you can do with the partial elven one? His name was Mac? Is there anything that you could do to communicate with him beforehand? See what's going on?
Nope. I got an idea though. Are we
Okay.
near that tent where the 2 guys that I scared were?
Sure, you can go over there.
I'd like to just stop by.
Okay. There's a couple people outside at that tent, and they seem to recognize you as you approach.
What's their demeanor as they recognize me?
Uncomfortable. It's plain and easy to see.
I got a question for you guys, and an apology, I suppose, for the way I acted earlier.
One of them stands up and nods towards you. It's the one who had fled into the tent.
You guys know anything about those people over by my tent? And I gesture.
Oh. Make a persuasion roll for me, please.
I'm very good at these.
Kunu the Diplomancer. Oh shit! Yeah, you are.
15!
The guy nods and he says, "Sell swords, paid men. Yeah, they work for one of the lords in town."
They usually have backup, or is it just their force behind their words?
He shakes his head and gives you the gesture like he doesn't know.
Say, this group of people settled out here seemed like a, sort of collective unit. How are they going to react if we come to blows there? Are they going to join in with the armed sellswords, or are they just going to look the other way?
The person shrugs and says, "Depends whose allegiances lie where."
It's a lot of risks. I say we walk in and see what's going on first. This
I'd
is
agree.
to borrow. I apologize again for the way I acted earlier. One of my friends went into a part of town he probably shouldn't have, and I was a bit on guard.
The man nods to you and he says, "Well, it's fine. I don't intend to stay here longer than I have to. Everybody, pack up camp. We're getting out of here before that happens." And people start to grab things and just someone puts out a fire and takes down the tent.
I'm gonna grab his arm before he leaves. I'm like, the man that those men represent. Is he a good lord in this town?
Make a persuasion roll, please.
Oh, but I'm so bad at those. I'm just
You're
bad at rolling.
you're a paladin. What do you mean you have bad charisma?
Oh, actually, that's an 18.
18?
Yeah. I just meant I'm bad at rolling.
I'm bad at
Well, that's
everything. in
true.
general.
The man turns to you and he says, "They belong to a noble who's not as wealthy as he once was. Montalara-san. He's, well, a good enough man, I suppose.
Do I know the name of the guy who had me in cuffs before?
Ah. Man who had you in cuffs before. No, you don't.
Nod at him, just. This is good. And look over at Kuno and just say, yeah, I think what we're choosing to do is right.
Alright, I've got to go, everybody.
Alright, bud.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. We're gonna end in like 2 minutes here anyway.
Alright. Thanks for DMing.
Yeah, no problem, dude.
He's out.
I as they're like packing up, I wanna just like without approaching, because I'm terrified of scaring this guy more. I'm just gonna like put like 2 gold or 3 gold down somewhere, like while he's watching me put it down.
Okay.
My apologies again for the trouble.
He nods in your direction, and somebody eventually comes by to grab the gold.
And then we walk into the camp.
Okay.
And with that,
The 2 of you walk over to the camp, and you guys see Kunu and Barrow return. What do you guys do?
Hey
I
guys, who's the new friends?
these are summoners to a lord of this town. I try to give subtly Kunu this look of, please help. Like these desperate eyes of like, you know.
Time to kill.
The man steps up, and so do the rest from his group as Mac finishes talking to you. And he steps in your direction and he says, "Indeed, it is now time to go and speak with my lord. Come." And with that, we will end the session.
Shit.
How, like, heavily armored and trained do these men look?
They're all mercenaries. So, yeah.
So fairly decent.
Yes.
So,
Sheep.
question that you probably won't answer: did we dodge a major combat with the whole horse thing?
Yeah, that suggestion was clutch.
What did the guy roll on his saving throw?
A 7. That was
like,
gonna be
God
like
damn
a. That was gonna be like a 5 on 8, and because one of you is still like, 3 levels of exhaustion, laying on the ground, and yeah, he was like, yeah, these aren't the droids you're looking for.
Subtle spell is OP.
Exactly.
I was just like, oh shit, here we go. Like, this is the combat he prepared. No,
It's gonna be so fun next week for like beginning our conversation with these guys with one of our 6 people he's supposed to bring back, like mysteriously just vanishing.
Yeah, just Mac will give Kunu a hug as we walk, like I missed you, and then whatever happens, happens.
Whatever happens, happens.
I hope I get the ring.
It's
So
a
let's
ring.
see.
You're
Perfect.
all level 4.
I got you lockpicks for like 3 gold, dude.
Yeah.
So with that, we are going to end the session. Thank you to all the players. I think you guys did quite well. And considering how many people we had playing that time, I didn't think it was too bad, actually, for a 6-man party. 7 might have been hectic.
Yeah,
we'll see
my
how
one
that
roll
goes.
I got all night was fun.
The one roll you got? You don't really, do a lot of stuff, Ferris.
You don't ever talk the role play to do anything, the roll to find anything.
Or talk, or, I guess, participate as an umbrella term. Wait for it.
Doo-doo.
Okay.
See?
To all the audience, thanks for tuning
I have
in.
nothing to
To all,
say to that.
to all the patrons, thanks for your support. I appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow. Adios.
Good night.
Adios.
Thank you for proving the
Sloth, don't
point.
touch